Good afternoon. I am Joe Hunk, and earlier today, former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores met and had an interview with CBS Mornings, and in doing so, even said that he believes that the New York Giants interview was a complete sham.
It was a range of emotions: humiliation, disbelief, anger. And I've worked so hard to get to where I am in football, to become a head coach. Put 18 years in this league, and it was to go on what was going to be what felt like or what was a sham interview. I was hurt.
Locally, the Tennessee Vols picked up a pitcher in the transfer portal as Ethan Smith, former Vanderbilt pitcher, has announced that he will be going to Tennessee. Tennessee is in the midst of trying to help him apply for a waiver where he could pitch this season. And today is National Signing Day, and the Vols currently have the number 15 class in the country, where Vanderbilt's sitting there at number 30. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yo, what up, Nashville? 3HL is on the air, 104.5 The Zone. Hope you're having a great, what's today? Wednesday?
Hump day.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day.
It is Groundhog Day.
The Groundhog.
Phil can kiss my you-know-what.
That chubby little Punxsutawney Phil came out, saw a shadow, gives us all 6 more weeks of winter.
Come on, Phil. Come on now.
Yeah.
Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day. Happy Groundhog Day. I read some weird things about Groundhog Day because Shafe said on J. Martin Ramon this morning, he grew up in like rural Pennsylvania. He grew up like 45 minutes from Punxsutawney Philville. And he and his wife went one year. And I was like, oh, man, if we didn't have 8 million things going on today, I would love for, like, I've got questions. He went. And he said they party all day, like the day before. And then at like 4 in the morning, they put you on school buses. This at least 20 years ago. They put you on school buses, send you out there at like 4 in the morning, and you're all drinking and watching a groundhog and all this stuff. And evidently it's already like predetermined anyway. I hope I didn't, bust people's bubble there.
So you like tailgating?
Yeah, they're tailgating. Big old party.
People shotgunning for the groundhog?
Yeah, so I had a lot of questions about it. Like, how long does a groundhog live?
You can't use shotgun around the groundhog slate.
That was the wrong term.
Groundhog only lives about 6 years in the
right.
wild. So 6 years, these things. So then I was like, okay, well, how does Punxsutawney Phil reproduce? Well, so Shafe said, no, he's got a harem. He's like got a lot of female groundhogs that live with him in the public library.
In the public library?
There's all kinds of weird things going on in this place.
The groundhog lives in the library?
Yeah, they have an enclosure for him.
Wow.
So they bring
That's
his little butt out there once a year. So
All that to say, more winter. Blah.
More winter.
And we're about to get it this week.
Winter is coming.
Ugh.
Again.
by
That's
the way,
kind of like a sensitive
so
subject
honestly,
for
like
Titans fans.
our zone friends that listen to the west of Nashville, there are all kinds of alerts and warnings and things and watches and things like that for ice Thursday night. So be careful, obviously. But they have extended that winter weather advisory to include Nashville and Williamson County as well now. So there's that. We will get into the Flores lawsuit. National Signing Day is today. Did you know that?
Yep, the Vols got one guy. That's all that's needed.
They got 2, actually.
They got another one?
They got a defensive lineman, and then they got a preferred walk-on who is actually a 3-star cornerback. But he was committed to Michigan State, and the Michigan State defensive backs coach left. So then he's out there with an ACL and no place to go. So I actually saw him and met him and hung out with him and his grandma at Charlotte at the official visit weekend last weekend.
There you go.
That Connor was on. And
you know what that tells me, Mayor?
He said that he was going to go to Tennessee.
That tells me you got to lock the door. If you don't lock the door, we coming to get you.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah, Hunk!
There you go. Hunk is back.
Hi.
I've been holding this for
6'8"
Slay for the last 5 minutes.
At Joe Hunk. What up? Let's go.
What?
Woo!
Where did this come from?
You like it?
This is
You
the
haven't heard this.
You don't know about this, huh?
He hasn't heard
You
this
thought
yet.
that was the original one, huh?
Yeah, I just saw Slay
There you
intro,
go,
and I
Drake.
just said, you know what? I'm hitting it.
A lot of little trickeration happened while you was
What
gone.
would yours say, Hunk?
Actually, that is identical to what mine would say.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. Like, I had the
6'8".
Bulls intro, everything 6'8". I would have actually, my NBA 2K guys is 6'9".
Oh,
Yeah, 200 pounds.
my NBA 2K guy.
That's all I had to do for the last 10 days is sit there and play video games.
I know you
we
so
are
wait.
glad you're back. We missed you.
This is
Uh-huh.
the first full-on 3HL show in 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
I was out, then you were out, then he was out. Slay's been here the whole damn time,
Just rolling.
posting
What-
up.
What kind of vitamins you take over there?
Man, I take sauce. Y'all got to start eating sauce like me. If y'all get sauce. Hey, listen, I got some nuggets, and they gave me 7 sauces. They know me. They know me.
7.
For those that don't know, Slay's actually the guy that saved the barbecue sauce at Chick-fil-A.
And you're welcome.
He wrote a letter to the president when they tried to take it out.
And
This
you're
is
welcome.
a real thing.
It's a real thing. They
Yeah.
sent him
He has showed us the letter
That's
that
right.
he got back.
a Chick-fil-A lunchbox, which he keeps all the candy in now.
That's right.
Which is a good thing because me and Babs discovered we either have a mouse or a rat in
Or
the building.
groundhog.
Or a groundhog.
Because y'all say these are rodent, too.
I'm going to go with mouse because mouse is better than rat.
Yeah, mouse are in like
Rat
cartoons
makes
and
you-
stuff.
Rat just sounds nasty.
That'd take you to New
mouse
York.
is like, oh, look at the
But
cute
listen,
little mouse.
I was like, she was like, I need to keep my headphones somewhere. She finally bought headphones after 5 years. And so I was like, you can keep it where I keep my whiskey.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right where the
this is
whiskey
true.
is.
And so she opened the thing and there's Hershey's Kisses in there. Well, there's all kinds of wrappers and stuff. Like somebody had
That's
been in it. And I
crazy.
immediately said, there's a rat in there. And she was like, you think so? I'm like, yeah.
And it wasn't you, Hunk.
I haven't been here.
And
No, because those kisses would be gone if
would
Hunk
be
was
well,
gone.
here.
plus
Yeah.
Hunk
I'm saying.
would throw away his trash. Like,
Yeah,
leave
he
it
would,
better
yeah.
than you found it. Well,
Right.
Rat's not thinking like that.
No.
So then Babs made a point to
Rat's
find
not
out if
thinking
there was
like
rat poop in there.
You holler
Like,
at
we
the
had to,
rat,
Brett
not thinking
Bachelor had to get his flashlight out.
Oh, yeah? Oh, y'all went on
Oh,
the
yeah,
criminal
I made BB.
investigation.
I was like, come over here because I didn't want to stick my hand in there just in case.
All I needed
Oh.
was the wrappers and stuff. I knew. I didn't need all that. Like,
No,
she's
you
going
were out
CSI.
of You were like, it's a rat. Okay, let's go. Move on. I'm like, no, not let's go.
No,
move
yeah.
on.
Don't just pass
I'm about
this
to
up.
put my headphones in here. By the way, I did not put my headphones in there.
No, you found a drawer,
Found a new
which
spot.
is easier. National Sign Day today, so we'll hit on that a little bit, maybe. Prez
will
goes.
we?
I don't know.
Because does it matter? No.
Vandy was putting up tweets. I have
I'm
to go back and
sorry.
watch.
It does matter. That's not fair to
Yeah,
some of
that
the other
does.
athletes. I apologize. But
You're so hardcore.
I know. But now that there are 2 national signing days, it doesn't matter
It's
as
too
much.
much for me. It's too much for me.
I
Well, to
missed
the
the
point
big
that-
one national signing.
To the
day.
point where we have to talk about it at an extended period of time. That's
Correct.
where it's changed. Yes, congrats to all the kids that signed today.
This would normally
Your
be the
life
big
will be
one, though, right?
changed.
Back in the day.
Yeah, this is the one.
This
where
is
you get to get
normally
out
the
of
big one.
class.
You know what's funny? The last one that I worked for ESPN, like covered Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss, AJ Brown's class.
Really?
Yep, that's the
I think
last
they
one I worked.
finished
And
number
that was
4
Yep.
in the nation that year.
I think it was higher than that.
Wow.
To go back and look.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause I
not
thought
I'm
for
not
a long
for
time,
sure.
like the misconception is that they finished number 1, which they did not. But they were number 1 for a long time during the class.
Maybe that's what and during our coverage, I think they were number 1. They might have fallen off like later in the
Right.
day kind of
Because
thing.
Alabama tends to do that to you.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
hey, speaking of Alabama.
But that was that long ago too. I mean, because Hugh Freeze was still at Ole Miss and AJ Brown was coming out of high school, and that was a huge get for them.
Speaking of Alabama, remember the ridiculous, he's had a couple of these, the ridiculous like TikTok video that Brian Kelly put out with this Danny Lewis kid.
What the
Where they're-
dancing and the
yeah,
platform?
and they're spinning
Yes.
around in a really tight space. That's the thing that got me on that deal.
No, that's what got you.
Yeah, tight
really.
space.
It was the.
If I'm dancing with a dude, I don't want to be like right on top of him.
Well, you have to on the rotating circle.
Right,
Like,
circle
just
needs to
don't
be
do
bigger.
it.
Although I always say be comfortable with the uncomfortable. So there you go. Clearly, Brian Kelly is.
But what did I tell you? Like, look, I get it. I don't have rhythm. I can't dance. So I'm not going to get on there and dance. Like Brian Kelly, know your limitations, coach.
That man tried to go with the old school 70s.
Yes.
Do you see me and I see you joint? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Weird. Lord.
That
Anyway,
ain't nothing.
so
Like
Alabama.
Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction.
Nathaniel.
Yeah.
That's Nathaniel.
I know what you're talking about because I've seen that movie now.
See?
I love it. Yeah, so Danny Lewis, the kid in that video, he's going to Alabama.
Oh, really? He did all that dancing for nothing?
For nothing. I think the dancing drove him away. It's like a relationship. Like you start to date a girl and then ultimately you got to go to the club, right? And at some point you got to dance.
Okay.
And so that's what happened to Brian Kelly.
I didn't know where that analogy was going.
The other part of
I didn't either.
The other part of the
Don't worry.
pending relationship saw him dance and got scared away to the other person.
So he
it
went
can
to
happen.
the club and found somebody better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you pull out the can you see me? He did everything but I'm drowning. The woo, take me down. Like, yeah, come on, Big Kelly.
I'm having so much fun watching you do this.
Yeah, that's the dance.
So he went to Alabama. Here's the thing, though. Nick Saban likes to dance, too. We've seen it.
Yeah, but his is different. He stay in his lane.
Rashawn Evans' video from his grandma's house in his recruiting visit.
We've
Say-
asked Rashawn about that,
Yep.
too.
What did he say?
Saban-
It was cool?
Yeah, he said it was great.
That's dope. Saban stayed in his lane because the dance he was doing, the
was
electric
doing
slide.
the electric slide,
the
yeah. The
slash
wedding dance.
twine, like the wedding dance, like, man, that's for all ages. You know what I mean? Little kids, like a 7-year-old can get in there and do it, or a 72-year-old can get in there and do it. And guess what? Everybody gonna have a good time. And you got different versions of it. You can't go wrong. This right here, I've been that Babs, I let me walk past somebody and they doing this right here.
With all the weird
How do you
lighting.
describe? I
and-
don't know how to describe that.
I see you and you see me.
Okay.
Then I'm going down in the
It's-
drowning. I'm drowning.
That's not helping me if I'm listening. I'm just saying. It's like the peace sign over the eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta get on YouTube chat to see it.
Okay.
You do. Twitter, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch.
Twitch, please.
You can watch the show on Zone TV, and you can see Slay's brilliant description of what was going on there with Brian Kelly, who clearly lost a big-time recruit because he was weird.
When Tennessee played him and I see Brian Kelly, SEC Media Day, that's what I'm doing to him.
You just
So
walk
I'm
up to him.
saying, Brian Kelly. Big ass.
My guess is he's going to be a lot more serious at that thing than he has been in this
I bet.
process. Preds go to the All-Star break on a 4-5 win streak, second in the West. Washington Commanders, that's a thing. Jim Harbaugh to the Vikings must be, as Ramon put it brilliantly this morning. If you ain't going to the NFL, you ain't interviewing on National Signing Day.
I think you're missing some things.
All that coming up. Stay tuned. 3 until
Taylor Lewan.
Taylor Lewan at 5 o'clock.
How you leave that out?
Taylor Lewan at 5 o'clock. Coach Mac next on 104.5 The Zone.
Are you missing football on Thursdays? Well, guess what? You can still turn every Thursday into a payday with NBA on TNT on FanDuel Sportsbook. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. FanDuel's giving all customers $10 back. Every Thursday, here's what you have to do. Bet a $10 or more same-game parlay on any NBA on TNT game. How easy is that? Same-game parlays. If you haven't jumped into this craze, they let you combine the money line, the point spread, some player props, and more all into one wager. If you look at the NBA, ton of options. You guys know I don't watch every single NBA game, but it is easy to jump in and pick a player point total. It's easy to say, I think this guy will have this many rebounds, and then go money line, over, under, point spread, whatever you want to do. Easy to root for your favorite players. Easy and a chance to put a small bet down and win big. Perfect way to turn that small bet into a big time score. Win or lose, you're guaranteed to get $10 added to your account on FanDuel Sportsbook every Thursday. Win or lose, TNT Thursdays. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code DAWN to enjoy 56-1 odds on either team to win in the Super Bowl. You can turn a $5 bet into $280 cash with promo code DAWN, DAWN, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit. Expires in 7 days. Max bonus $10. Restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Buddy Allen Carpet One. That's where you need to go for your flooring project. Or your flooring project. Locally owned and operated by the Allen family for more than 55 years. Zach, Jenna, and Judson Allen are in the store every day. Means they will be a part of your process the entire way, including the installation. They don't hand that off. You won't suddenly get a 1-800 number to get the installation. They'll hook you up with that, and they'll be with you every bit of the process. 2405 Lebanon Pike and Donaldson, 615-883-3289. Or here's the key information, BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. This is how Nick Saban gets players. He dances to this. I bet Coach Mack has done this at some point at a wedding or two.
Man, the soul Coach Mack got, he ain't got no choice. I would let me go to somewhere to an event or something, and Coach Mack just in the back chilling. He no big slang, ain't gonna let him chill.
I know one thing. Right now, with that going on, Ron Slay is dancing in there. I know that.
You know it. And guess what? My shotgun rider with me too. Babs. You know she was in there.
I can picture it. As soon as that came on, I know you were moving.
Yeah. The mayor was at the bar laughing at us while me and Babs were getting down.
That's right.
I've got beer to drink.
That's about how our trips go.
Everybody's got a job.
That's right, Coach Mack. I like it.
Hey, you guys got your crew back together for the first time in a long time, don't you?
Yeah, man.
I think
about
it's
time.
4 weeks because I missed a Wednesday after a Buffalo Wild Wings show. Yeah.
Yep.
Even though I tested negative.
Yeah, when Joe Hunk called me, it's good to hear Joe Hunk back in the mix.
Yes.
Missed you, Coach.
Everybody's healthy and back, Coach.
Coach,
Keep it that way. Yeah, Brett.
let me start with the big topic that everybody's talking about, even people that don't know anything about sports. And let me start this way. How good of a football coach is Brian Flores?
Well, he's a good coach. I mean, I don't understand why he's still not the coach in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I never understood that. Of course, you know, that's not my decision to make.
Right.
But just looking at it, I mean, he did a nice job of keeping that team together and keeping them very, very competitive. And so, I mean, he's a good football coach, and he's been a good football coach. You know, where he's been, he's one of the up and coming, I think, young coaches in this league. So, and you know what's going on now. I mean, those are some major issues. That's something that when you step out like that, there's clearly you have a strong belief about what went on. And so this is going to be very interesting, and it's also going to be a topic for quite a while. But you ask me how good a football coach he is. He's a good football coach.
Yeah, I remember talking with you about him when the Titans played the Dolphins, and you talked about how good of a football coach he was. And we came on the radio and talked about how shocked we were that he was let go in Miami, because I thought he was in a tough position based on the quarterback's inability to push the ball down the field, and I thought he got as much out of that football team as anybody could have.
Well, I mean, he was rebuilding that football team. Let's be honest. I mean, it wasn't exactly like when he was named the head coach that he took over a top-tier juggernaut in this league, right?
Yeah.
And he kept them, you know, he kept them very competitive. And, you know, and he's a guy that's worked his way up the ranks in the National Football League. And so, look, we never know what goes on inside any buildings. Anything we ever want to conjecture about hirings and firings is just that. It's conjecture. I've been inside the buildings for 31 years, so I know that there are things that go on, all right, that nobody else knows. But just from the outside looking in, it surprised me too.
Well, and you've had weird experiences with owners and coaching gigs, and didn't know you were the head coach, and
didn't know you were fired. And
one or two. Well, I never didn't know I wasn't fired. I was just head coach for 6 hours and didn't know it for 3. I didn't know I was hired.
So you know when you're fired. Sometimes you don't know when you're hired. That's kind of what we've learned.
That's exactly right. I mean, you kind of know when you're fired because you're there. I mean, I was there and I was named the head coach, and I didn't know it. Everybody else did except me. So I guess I didn't need to know it.
That league is such a monolith, though. Like when you start throwing fire, it's tough. It's so you know. I mean, you have to know when you make a decision like that to push forward. That and the NFL said everything in the statement. Like they were kind of harsh in the statement. I thought that they would take like a wait and see role kind of attitude in their statement, but.
I will just say this, again, not knowing any of the particulars other than what I have heard, I know this. This is not going to be an immediate resolution. I know that.
Yeah. Coach Mack with us, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Coach Mack, I talked with him on text message today. You and the crew have already dove into hundreds of draft prospects.
Well, Rhett and I had an all-day meeting yesterday. for our first, to put our first board up there. I mean, I've done, full disclosure, I've done some pretty extensive work before then. Rhett was not able to because of all the production stuff that he has to do. I was able to do quite a bit of it. Anyway, he and I had an all-day meeting yesterday and got the first blush put out there. Now we've got to start honing it down, which is what you do. I mean, we're sitting here February 1st. When they bring their scouts in, during training camp, and then they bring them in during the year as far as to get a first board up, there will be a lot of movement on it. I mean, I've been working on it again today. I've watched every practice at the Senior Bowl. ESPNU and ESPN2, by the way, do a great job of broadcasting these Senior Bowl practices. They give you everything. They give you all the individual drills. They give you all the 9-on-7, all 7-on-7, all the team, all the 1-on-1. I mean, it's like sitting here and watching film. So it's really good. Mike Keith is down there. Mike Keith is going to do the play-by-play for SiriusXM on Saturday for game day with Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller. And so we've got it covered pretty well.
That'll be outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
It will be.
How do you kind of take listeners through the process?
Okay.
Do you specifically you look at what the Titans need and start with that position group? Is it broad? How does your draft prep start in the beginning? I know you've been doing it for a while, but when it comes to the Titans.
That's a really, really good question for people that really want to know. The first thing that you do, you set your board just based on players' ability, okay? And in other words, you get and you take it from a 30,000-foot view, and you set your board just on their ability and where they rank in this draft in their positions, okay? And then what you start to do, you start to take your board and you build it vertically, all right, as far as with where they rank in their position. And then as you progress, then you start to make horizontal boards as far as looking at, I've got this defensive rush man's over here and this running back's over here. How do their ability horizontally line up? And then that's when the last thing that you start doing, and you always do it with your people in mind, but then you start looking at your position on the draft, where you are positioned in the draft on, and then who might be there. That's why it's so important to be able to set your draft vertically, horizontally, and then in pods. And then in pods that cover the entire spectrum of it, because especially when you win enough games that you are picking in the lower tiers of the draft in every round, there's going to be people that you like when you set your first initial board, but you're not going to have a chance to pick them. So once you start honing your board in, which takes a while to do, then you start to understand what you need, where your needs are, but also the guys that will be available to you. And you don't really want to limit yourself to one position, because when you get down to that point, there may be a higher rated player because of what's gone on above him at one position than you have at a position of need. And then that changes as you work through the draft. It's a different thought process with the first round pick than it is with a fifth round pick. I hope that made some sense to you.
Totally makes sense, yeah.
That's the way you start to put it together. But your first view at it, the first thing that we did, we just put guys in as far as the way that that they rank in their positions, and we'll start the rest of it this next month.
So Titans specifically, what position groups are you really looking at?
Well, I'm looking
Once you
at all
dive
of
in.
them for now, but I mean, let me just say this. That can you hear me? Let me just say this. That's really important. Is that what you look at too is where the strength of the draft is, Dawn, right? And the strength of this draft, you are looking at offensive tackles is the strength of this draft. The interior of the offensive line is pretty decent, I would say, through day two at least. Edge rushers, corners, and wide receivers are pretty big in this draft. And then there's a good group of tight ends. There's probably two. I'm not sure. Last year we had two tight ends go real early in the first round. I'm not sure that will happen, but I think there's a really good mix for the second day of tight ends that are going to be able to come in and play. There's different flavors of them, but to me, that's where the draft looks at. I would think you'd look at tight ends. You're always going to look at offensive linemen, and you can never, ever have too many cover people.
Yep.
Coach, I got 2 questions for you. I saw it sounded like you was pulling the board out right then and walking Babs through it. And I just want to know, Coach, from a personal standpoint, where do I fall on your board? I'm just, I'm curious about this personally.
You want me to read the report? You want to read the report?
I mean,
yes.
I mean, Coach, if you got it in front of you, lay it out for the people.
6'8", good length.
Well, length has something to do with it. You start off. First of all, great motor, tenacious, never stops, excellent length. May be uncoachable for a minute, but you can get him. You can whip him into shape.
I love it.
Mike could be a multi-position player, edge and tight end.
I like it, Coach. I like it. I'm a 2-way guy, baby. Don't you just box me up. Put me on two ways, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he had a 58-yard touchdown reception at Pearl Cove.
I sent it to my guys.
Yeah.
Hey, now, and my gals. Hey, Coach Mack, now seriously.
Yeah.
You had to deal with guys sitting out for COVID reasons, and then coming into the draft and trying to scout those guys. Does the transfer portal, does it make it difficult at all as far as trying to, get a beat on these guys with them bouncing around as far as tape to look at?
It really doesn't, because you're gonna get tape on them, and if they were a true player, say just like this Johnson kid, this edge guy at Florida State, that's a good player. All right. I mean, he played 1 year at Florida State, but he had tape, where he first was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So look, the way that it is now, Ron, the way technology is now, you've got looks at all of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a big long corner from the University of Texas to San Antonio that I've just, watched here at the Senior Bowl. Big and long. I mean, really needs some work, but he's raw. But let me tell you something. University of Texas, San Antonio, it's got tape.
Yeah.
I mean, so, anymore, there's not – back in the day, there may have been some people that, you could find, that you talk about guys that nobody knew about, that you just knew about. That doesn't happen anymore. So to answer your question, whether you've transferred or whether you stayed your whole career at one place, there's enough evaluation tape on you. They will find you.
That's spot on, because to pull the curtain back a little bit, I was in there eavesdropping on you and Red B, man, and I heard a name of a school that you called. I was like, man, I ain't even ever heard of that school. I can't even pronounce it. I had to ask Red B again, because that school, I was like, boy, y'all find them, don't you? He was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, well, let me, and full disclosure, yesterday when Rhett and I were working, I told Rhett to deliver a message to you when he had to come help you with technology, get set up to do something in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And I told Rhett, tell him exactly what I said. I can't say it right now because of FAA regulations, but it was something like I hope he delivered it word for word to you.
Coach Mack,
I meant it from my heart.
And I know you did. He had his headphones down, and he didn't even have to tell me, because he was laughing so hard. I said, man, tell Coach Mack leave me alone, man.
You just snorted.
I did. Coach Mack made me do that sometime, man.
Coach Mack, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Need great health care coverage at an affordable price. Let Farm Bureau Health Plans coach you through it. They've been protecting Tennesseans since 1947. What I've heard about this draft, Coach, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know you're just now diving in, but very, very strong in the trenches, O-line, D-line.
Yes, it's absolutely true, and more edge guys. But the guys that are in the two guys at Georgia are dudes, okay, down inside of the middle. But there are guys second and third round that are going to be able to play. And I think on the inside you're going to be able to find 3 techniques, and you're also going to be able to find some shades. But the edge rushers, there are edge rushers, in this draft. I mean, we're talking about Devontae Wyatt, Jermaine Johnson, Cameron Thomas, that's at San Diego State, Fidarian Mathis that's at Alabama, D'Angelo Malone at Western Kentucky. These are guys that have second-day grades that are good players.
What about this quarterback group? What do you think? Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Bailey Zappi, Sam Howell, Carson Strong, all at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, Matt Corral also in that group. What do you think about this group?
All, as you said, 6 of those 7 guys are in the Senior Bowl. in the Senior Bowl. I think they have different. To me, I really like Malik Willis. Just raw watching him, because this guy. First of all, he's not a real tall guy, but he's a strong guy. His release is really quick. There's a lot to his reads that are going to have to be cleaned up. But to me, let me just say this, and again, it's for our listeners too. I say it every year, but I think it's important to say it every year. There are 2 drafts every year. There's a positional draft, and then there's a quarterback draft.
Right.
Okay? Those are 2 separate things. And so if you need a quarterback, if you're looking for a quarterback, quarterbacks are positions that teams will move up to get, or they will move down to be able to get. And so when you look at these guys, I think comparing them to what I think last year was a pretty strong draft for young quarterbacks coming out. But most of these guys, these 6 out of the 7 that are here, most of these guys will be gone by the 3rd round, I really believe, in this draft.
Okay.
Because of what you said, there's 2 different drafts. So no matter how talented the quarterback group is, supply and demand. Everybody there are many teams that need one, right? So that's what pushes them up.
Yeah, and the thing you have to look out for, Brent, and you guys know this, and for our listeners, you have to be very careful with quarterbacks that you don't let the need cause you to overreach for one, because that's the issue. Most people, if they're going to draft a quarterback, sometimes they will try to stretch his value for a late first rounder, because even in the late first round, you still get the 5th-year option, right? And so most people, if they think they're going to have to develop one, would like to be able to have the chance at least, even though the money would be big at that 5th year if you've developed him, that you're able to keep him. But you've got to be very careful and cognizant with quarterbacks. We've all known all the examples of it where you reach for one, and then all of a sudden you've got not only have got some cap problems because of the money that you have in them, well, then you're also stuck. And so, I mean, we've seen clubs. I mean, what the Cardinals do? They drafted Josh Rosen number 1, and then the next year, they ate all of that, sing him off, and draft Kyler Murray behind him. You'd like to stay away from those scenarios.
Yeah, but man, if I'm the Titans, that might be an angle that I pursue. Just what you said, having one in the wings with a 5th-year option potentially, and might make sense. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Coach Mack, great stuff, man. Thank you. Look forward to the draft process and talking with you each week.
Guys, it's always a pleasure being on with you guys. Very happy all of you are healthy and back at work. That makes me feel very happy for you. Ron Slay, the next time you're in there when we're having a draft meeting, let me know, please.
Okay, I got you. Hey,
It's
Coach,
fun.
I got to tell you this real quick too, Coach. If you could, when you get off the line, so you can soothe his little soul, he's jealous. Could you hit Ramon up and give him some measurements in his scouting report? I don't know why you just made him so jealous, Coach Man.
Well,
he
I
want to
can
be in
tell
my
you,
shoes.
he's not going to have the length part of it.
Talk
He's
to him,
only
Babs.
6'6".
Talk
So,
to him,
you know.
Babs.
Ramon has his own show that he can do it on.
Feel me? Nah, Coach Mack, that's just for me, man. Coach Mack don't dig in the
Listen,
crate like that for
hey,
anybody.
Ramon just had to get out the one quicker. Ron needed a little more cooking.
I've kept every draft book I've done for 35 years. I might pick Ramon's report up.
Coach Mack, go
Yes.
get that for your boy, Coach. Get that for
When
me.
we had Jarrell Casey for Titans Amy Coach Mack podcast, that's what I did. I read him my draft report when I was there when we drafted him.
Was it pretty accurate, Coach Mack? For
Jarrell
what he
said
turned
about-
into?
Let me tell you, Don, you need to listen to the podcast, but I'll tell you what happened. I read it. I said, Jarrell, I'm going to read this to you because I was heavily involved in this. And I read it to him. He said, Coach Mack, that brought a tear to my eye. I said, how close was I? He said, dead on.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm talking about, Coach.
Love
There he
it.
is, Coach
Yeah.
Mack. Thank you,
See you
Coach.
guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, Coach.
When we
You
get
did it
back,
on mine, too.
we'll get back into
All
the
the
Brian
coaching times.
Flores situation and take your phone call. 615. I almost gave
Sometimes you got
I almost gave my cell phone number.
Sometimes you got to call direct.
615 737-1045. Remember, Taylor Lewan coming up at 5 o'clock. And there's a report out there about Aaron Rodgers and maybe moving to Nashville, which I've said on this show before. But
Like 2 weeks ago.
yeah, there's a detail that's wrong about that report. I'll have that for you next. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Actually, to be completely out there, now that I think about it, I don't think I said he was moving here, but I think the way that I framed it was he really likes Nashville. I think that's what I said instead of the other way. But there is a different detail that is out there that's a little bit wrong. So we'll hit that for you. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. But if you like to have a good time and gamble on sports, like I do, you can certainly do it with the local guys. Action247.com. Bet local. Those are the local guys. Action247.com, the only local legal sports book in the state of Tennessee. And these are the guys you need to use. Even if you are signed up with another group, try these guys out. They're the local group and keeping it local in the state of Tennessee. And these are my guys. They've got all kinds of promotions going on all the time. They'll shoot you emails when you can get free money basically when you make certain bets. So they'll do that for you. Also, it's easier on the app to me. So hit them up on the app, Android, iPhone, and download the apps. Get signed up today, and then you'll be able to roll. College basketball, the NHL, NBA. Obviously, the big game coming up next weekend, and you want to get involved, all kinds of props. Action247.com. They're the local guys. Action247.com. Again, gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
What up, people? You know who it is. It's me, Ron Slay. And I ain't talking about no Gregory Jr. in your car. I'm talking about me, Ron Slay, riding drop top. Because car ain't got no roof. Where would you go get it from? 2430 Gallatin Pike North. That's where you go get it. Music City Autoplex. And if you ain't comfortable with going at the dealership, you can go right there online at musiccityautoPlex.com. That's where I went for my first purchase, right online. And it did it on my phone. It was so cool, so easy. I was a little nervous thinking, man, it can't be like it is on my phone. Like, they spruce it up a little bit. They were lying, and I was lying. You know what I mean? They was right on point. And that's exactly what you can do, too. Take it from Brittany. I went to Music City Autoplex, and I must say, this was the best experience ever. They listened to what I needed and wanted and exceeded that. Huh. Don't that sound like the same story I was telling you? You can have that same story, too, because they got over 15 million in used vehicles on the ground at Music City Autoplex. You need to tap in with them. And if you want to go get you a car with no roof, you can do that. But you got to scream it, though. Car ain't got no roof. Go to Music City Autoplex, people. Get you a car.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Let me say it this way. The neighborhood is not in Franklin. It is in Brentwood, which is close.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
I'll just leave it there. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport. Look at Joe Hunk. Joseph Hunkapiller. He still doesn't look like he feels right to me.
Not 100%.
Plus, he has to drive from Huntsville.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, you live in the suburbs of Huntsville.
Yes, Hazel Green.
Hazel Green.
Yes.
Is that one word or two?
2 words. 2 words. Hazel Green. So, but yes, it's about an hour and a half away. So today I was a little sleepy coming in, so all I did was listen to some 90s rap. Seriously, it's the only thing that could wake me up. So that's what I was doing.
There was, to get through all my stuff, we're going to be broadcasting live from Radio Row at the Super Bowl next week, assuming we can get all of our COVID responsibilities taken care of. It's hard to get into L.A., man.
What in the world?
If y'all
Don't
could have
even
seen
get
the
me
side eye
started.
that Davenport just gave me when I said that,
The-
they're all in California.
It's real.
if you don't come with a negative test within 24 hours, you have to wear a mask on air on Radio Row, even though we're all going to be far enough apart.
Yep.
And even though you have to be vaccinated, and even though you have to be boosted,
Yep.
all of that, you still have to wear a mask on air if you don't provide a negative test within 24
Yeah,
hours.
on air. Y'all see it.
On air. No, you won't see it because your girl just had COVID.
Well, so did I.
So
You sound like my 11-year-old.
I'm good within the 90. I'm within the 90-day
My
mark.
11-year-old's like, your boy's excited about having pizza tonight.
Your boy's excited.
I mean,
A little bit of third person right there. I like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't even get me started about freaking all these
It is
mandates
wild,
for going to California when their governor's rocking no mask.
John Robinson said,
It's outside,
Yeah.
technically.
Right.
It's outdoors.
it might make more sense. I was thinking it might make more sense to go into the Flores thing at 4 when we have a little more time.
Okay.
But we did have this today from the Buck Rising show. John Robinson, the general manager of the Titans, was on the show with Buck today and said he's working through a contract extension for head coach Mike Vrabel. Joseph Hunkapiller has the audio for you.
Yeah, we're working through some things on that. You know, that's kind of that's club business, and you know, I've utmost confidence in Mike. I know Mike loves being there, and we love Mike being there, and no doubt that we'll get all that figured out.
Well,
There you go. We'll get all that figured out. I bet it's already figured out.
yeah, it ain't. I mean, you don't just drop that, do you?
Look at them. They're trying to take my mic off. I've heard some things that might indicate that might be done. So we'll see. But, yeah, that was on the Buck Rising show today. John Robinson down at the Senior Bowl. Buck broadcasting live down there at the Senior Bowl. And it's funny because they keep having them.
Tune in.
Yeah, it's good. Buck does a great job, man. We give him a lot of crap, but Buck does a great job. They keep having weather issues where they force it to practice inside where the media can't watch. Which I mean,
stinks.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point. Like, the media wants to get
It's
the look.
raining hard right now
Yeah.
at practice.
Yeah.
I really thought you were about to say it's raining men. I don't even know why.
It's raining, man.
I think because of a
That
discussion
was
that we.
not me, for the record.
You sounded like the Fine Young Cannibals right there.
Been working on my impersonations.
Ventriloquist.
So in the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to talk Brian Flores and everything that is going on with that lawsuit. You okay over there? Goodness.
Couldn't reach the button.
And if you want to jump in that conversation, come on, 615-737-1045.
Yeah, go ahead and get in line. 'Cause we'll do it.
Also, at some point, we have Taylor Lewan coming on at
Yes.
5 o'clock today, which is great. And, I mean, we've already said half the stuff we're going to ask him. And
Does he get to go in the boom boom room?
Oh,
I would think-
absolutely.
I would
yeah.
think if the Boom Boom Room production staff is prepared, Taylor Lewan would be the perfect Boom Boom Room candidate.
Well, guess what?
Yes.
Hope they prepared.
Those guys are always.
Yes.
They're always working. Like even
They
during
always work.
like the heart of COVID when we were all at home.
Yeah.
The Boom Boom Room production team was down in that office, that most people don't even know where that office is. It's at the end of the hall before you go to the bathroom, and there's always smoke coming out of it.
Yeah, there you go. See, talk to the people, man.
Yep. You hear like clanking glasses down there.
Man. Yeah, man. You go right then left in one spot.
When you're that creative, you just have to let it out at all times.
Hey, man.
And sometimes the ideas fly, sometimes they don't.
And it's good because
Here we
it's
are.
captured.
I forget the guy that leads that Boom Boom Room group. Alfred? Is that his name?
Are you talking about a real? I thought you
That's
were
a
talking about
random pick.
me. Who the heck is that?
Did you know? Totally random.
All
Speaking
those
of,
guys out
did you
the end of the
know?
hall.
I wanna know about
Smoking
the smoke.
cigars.
I want to know about the smoke.
There's no smoking in this building. They don't care.
Oh, yeah. They make their own rules.
There's a Boom Boom Room bar at the University of Alabama. Did you know that?
Yeah, somebody went down there and sent me a picture, or somebody in our group sent me a picture of that.
Why do you know that, Babs?
She been in the Boom Boom Room.
No,
Did
no,
you
I
lock
have
the
not
door?
been in the
Okay.
Boom Boom Room.
Okay.
It was a totally random conversation at our dinner where we had dinner with a couple of different couples on Saturday night. And one of the couples are University of Alabama grads. And we were talking about where they met and how they met, right? Got married. And they met in the Boom Boom Room in Alabama.
Listen,
I'm
man,
like, whoa,
listen.
there's a Boom Boom Room in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
You never know when you're going to find the Boom
Let's
Boom Room.
go.
Hey, you don't never know what's going to be made in the Boom Boom Room. You feel
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Babies.
You
There's a
relationship,
love
babies,
connection
the
sometimes in the
relationships,
Boom
you know?
Boom Room.
Podcast, babies.
Come on, man.
Yeah, there you go. Who knows?
Real. Yeah, copyright infringement and trademark, and I'm gonna get them for that.
Yeah, get 'em.
Yeah, don't even trip.
So,
my
so the
reps
other
on.
thing I wanted to bring up at some point in the show too is a conversation on Twitter that I don't know if he's a Titan fan or what, but Daniel on Twitter tweeted to a bunch of different people on all different networks and radio and all that. Tannehill for Winston, straight up. Who says no?
Get out of here.
Everybody.
I'm like, me.
Yeah, both teams.
But there are legit. I actually
Maybe one
said
team.
hell no. I thought that it was a sarcastic tweet, but no, it's
It
not.
was real.
So, I mean, there are actually a lot of people, not a lot. I'm not going to go a lot, but that are saying, oh well, he only threw 3 interceptions, before he got injured. Oh, but look, he's such a different player. Before he got injured, this and that, and yeah, it's a real
I don't doubt
conversation
any of
where
that either.
some people are all in on that. Like this guy said, 14-3 touchdown interception ratio last year before he got hurt. But you still have to look at a tendency for him to throw picks. And what are we all complaining about with Ryan Tannehill? Not to mention he's coming off an injury.
Yes.
I think it's a major step down in leadership, even though we don't hear that from Ryan Tannehill. We'll ask Taylor
Eat that
Lewan
dub.
about it.
Eat that dub.
You're right. Like you hear that from the players. We'll hear Taylor Lewan talk about it too, or we'll ask him about it as well. But from a leadership standpoint, it's a step down. Anyway, so maybe we hit that tomorrow. We can hit that today, whatever. But there are people out there that think. Now, he's the top free agent on the market, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, if Aaron Rodgers had moved into the Nashville area, as Stillman put out there, it's not Franklin, it's Brentwood, by the way. Just get him.
What are you doing?
I mean, if he wants
What
to
are you
retire
doing,
in
Mayor?
Nashville,
What are you doing?
Sports Talk Radio.
Ugh.
All right, Brian Flores discussion when we come back. If you want to get in line, hit us up there, 615-737-1045, at 3HL1045. What?
Don't touch the horse.
Don't touch the horse.
Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. If you need a truck to pull your horse, go see my friends at Ken Gupton. Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and get that done. It's almost Jeep season. I'm intrigued by that. I'm not going to lie. So I've already been talking with my man Ken about that, or others in my family have. So we bought multiple vehicles from those guys, and they're awesome people. You'll discover that when you go see my friends at Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. About 30 minutes from downtown Nashville, 3450 Tom Austin Highway, 24 West exit 35. Straight shot in there. Check them out online at GuptonMotors.com. The entire inventory is there. All the dealership information is there. And then go take your test drive. Ask your questions. They'll have your answers for you. You'll go inside. They'll help make the numbers work, and it'll be that easy. No pressure at all. They want you in the vehicle that's right for you. That's it. That's the only goal, and that's what will happen. Go see my friends at Cupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
All right, let's talk about beautiful, really perfect gift for Valentine's Day, right? I got you covered. Don't you worry. Artisan Custom Closets, that's who you need to call. Make the day and the month and the year and you name it for the lady in your life. Make it with organization from Artisan Custom Closets. I've also pointed out to you, right, that Valentine's Day is after the big game, like the day after the big game. So you might want to get on it. Maybe you want to work with one of Artisan Custom Closets' amazing designers, create the perfect layout for a beautiful custom closet or garage storage. I did that. I got that gift last year and it was amazing and I'm in love with it. Show-stopping closet within your budget or maybe a brand new home office. For the significant other in your life. Artisan Custom Closets can do all of that. Get the highest customer service, get quality products, all made in the USA, by the way. Work with a local business. Go to artisancustomclosets.com. Schedule your free consultation today. They will come in. They'll organize everything. They'll give you 3D plans. You can say what you want, taken away, added to, all within your budget. It's artisancustomcloset.com. By the way, tell them Dawn sent you in February for 15% off. That's artisancustomcloset.com.
Good afternoon. I am Joe Hunk, and National Signing Day is happening today, just in case you didn't hear anything about it, because basically nobody's talking about it. Current ratings right now, Tennessee is number 15 in the country on the 24/7 board. Vanderbilt is sitting at number 30. Now, when it comes to the Vols, they also made a big pickup today baseball-wise, because baseball season's about to start here in less than a month. Matter of fact, it's less than 2 weeks. But Vanderbilt pitcher Ethan Smith has announced that he is transferring to Tennessee, and the Vols are currently looking to get a waiver so that he could pitch this year. Over his 3 years at Vandy, he went 8-0 with a 2.78 ERA. And Memphis tonight is up in New York at MSG to take on the Knicks. Tip-off is going to be at 6:30. Game, you can be watching it on ESPN. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yo, what up, Nashville? 3HL is on the air. 104.5 The Zone. Rainy Wednesday in the Music City. There's a winter weather advisory in effect Thursday night for Nashville and also Williamson County. And
I'm done.
Counties to the west and northwest.
I'm done.
What's wrong with you?
I hate winter.
Why?
I hate cold weather. Don't give me that ice. I don't want any more snow. We've had enough, Nashville.
8th snowiest January in Nashville history.
See?
And it was the
This
snowiest.
is why I have been running red for a month.
Oh, yeah, because you weren't running red before the snow.
It was anticipation of the snow coming that had to run red.
You've never run red before.
I mean,
You've been doing 3HL for like 5 years.
do you think I've been running red for 5 years?
I mean, there are elements to it.
You gotta go get a oil change.
Every once in a while. Sometimes I drag it out of you.
Sometimes you just poke the bear.
Sometimes your husband does it, which he did yesterday when he sent us a picture of him with a
That was-
With
mustache.
his god-awful
Do
mustache.
you know how big of a
Loved it.
gift that was for me sitting at the
Amen.
house with a text message of
Oh,
that?
my
Oh, that was such a
gosh.
gift.
We put it on Twitter. There were
I love it,
66
too.
likes and 30 comments.
Man, people were going in about it all night long, too.
There
all night.
were actually some really funny comments.
It was.
I'm not going to lie. Our listeners are super creative.
Yeah.
Let me say
some
this.
not
He
for
still
air.
has the mustache.
Yeah!
So,
the stash
he-
lives.
I wondered how that went last night.
yeah, well, he's going to be single. That's what's going to be living soon if the stash doesn't go away. So I'll let you guys know tomorrow.
Is that a check mark? Is that a box anywhere on the divorce papers?
Yeah, it's checking
Would
the
not
box.
get rid of his porn stash.
It's a Davenport rule.
Yes.
He got to run German.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You didn't go into the mayor's thinking about that, did you?
I didn't think that would be a
You
big
didn't know
deal.
you was going to get one of these.
That was in
Apparently
your
it
house.
is.
One of these
Big deal.
He
prickly
does. He
stashes.
looks like your husband looks like an 80s police officer in
I
a
love it.
movie.
Yeah.
Not like
I
a
love
real
it.
one, but well, maybe a real one.
Stop
but
encouraging
when he
him
puts
so
the aviators on too. I mean, it's
I ain't even
like
got to see him with those on. Not with the
Officer
stash.
Harder.
Ugh.
Officer Harder.
Moving on.
I mean, it just popped up in my timeline, so I
Yeah,
had to go there.
that's
All right.
running red. I'm running red on that.
Today is National Women and Girls in Sports Day, right? Did I say that
Yes.
correctly?
Yes, you did. I don't know actually, but it sounds good.
Sounded right to me.
Yeah.
We salute you
Thanks
all.
for y'all's support.
We salute
I love
you
y'all.
all,
I get
Babsy.
it. It's like Valentine's Day. Shouldn't we celebrate women and girls in sport every day?
Yep.
Yes.
And it's Black History Month, too.
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot to say it yesterday. What day behind? But it's the whole month.
And a
I'm
dollar
a day
short.
behind. It's the whole month though.
Yeah,
You didn't
right.
miss a day.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're finally eating that salad. That's good.
Man, I got about 7 more bites.
All right.
That's all it's gonna take.
So Brian Flores, I mean, everybody's talking about this, and this story has transcended sport, right? Like, so this is one of those stories they're talking about on. If I watched The View, it would be on The View probably. I don't know. Good Morning America, Today Show, all of those things. Well, actually, Brian Flores was on CBS Morning Show today talking about all of this, and he has sued the NFL. He has sued 3 NFL teams. Those are the Dolphins, who recently fired him, which we all were like, why are you firing that guy?
Right.
Look at the turnaround that he has put within that team this year, but also like the last 2 years. Like, I felt like he was getting more out of that team than anybody could.
Back-to-back winning seasons.
Yes. More wins than Belichick in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
but he's fired. Miami thinks they can do better. I don't know.
Gotta
go. Broncos, Giants, also named in the lawsuit. Here's the other thing he's doing. He is trying to get a class action lawsuit going, which means other people get into the lawsuit, and it becomes even bigger. Cut number 5. Why did Brian Flores file this lawsuit?
We didn't have to file a lawsuit for the world to know that there's a problem from a hiring standpoint in regards to minority coaches in the National Football League. The numbers speak for themselves. We filed the lawsuit so that we could create some change, and that's important to me. I think we're at a fork in the road right now. We're either going to keep it the way it is, or we're going to go in another direction and actually make some real change where we're actually changing the hearts and minds of those who make decisions to hire head coaches, executives, et cetera.
Really feels like that Belichick text to him where Bill Belichick, for those that don't know, texted Brian Flores, congratulations on getting the Giants job. Well, he meant to text Brian Daboll, who did get the job. Well, the problem there is this text came on Monday. Brian Flores' interview was on Thursday, like the next Thursday. So he hadn't even interviewed for a position that had already been given out, apparently. Now, a couple of things. Is this Belichick trying to screw the NFL? Because he's been at war with the league for a while. Or was it an honest mistake? That's really the answer. But I guess that's what sent him over the edge on this stuff. Because, the part of the lawsuit where he's saying that the Dolphins were willing to give him $100,000 per loss came out. Like, that had been going on, but he hadn't mentioned that until this lawsuit. So I'm trying to figure out, what snapped him, and I guess the text message snapped him. I don't know.
Well, because one of my other questions, too, because we still have head coach openings in the NFL right now. And so timing of it, he went ahead, which I would assume he's a candidate was a candidate for those openings.
Should have been a candidate.
Should have been a candidate for those openings, but he chose timing now, which to me showed that was kind of the final straw for him. Like, he wasn't willing to wait and see what happened with these openings.
Right.
He went ahead and immediately, very close to where, obviously it was something that was weighing heavy on him, on his mind anyway to do, clearly, because this isn't thrown together in a couple of days.
Right.
And I know a lot of people are saying, or we're not happy with the NFL's statement on it, because that they didn't do their due diligence and kind of dive in and investigate. My take on that was there is no way in the world that the NFL did not know this was coming, because that organization knows everything through everybody.
That text message from Belichick would have been last Monday, so you've had a week and a half.
Yeah.
So a week and a half.
It came out yesterday, right? No, it came out Monday night.
Yeah.
Monday evening during our show, where we had to cipher through all kinds. So a week.
It was yesterday.
Oh, it was
yesterday.
Yeah.
I lose track of my
It was yesterday during our show.
A week and a day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of my take on that part of it. And it's clear that for him, it is about forcing change. It's about forcing, a movement and all of that, because he wasn't willing to wait and see what happened with these other open jobs.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what it is. Like, you take so much of it, and then to a certain point, it's like, hold on, man. Now, forget whoever's overseeing this, or he's leaning on to, for counsel in this situation, whether it be other head coaches, black coaches, whatever it may be. I think they may have told him probably too, why don't you wait for a second? And he was probably, no, man, let's roll with this. Like, because enough is enough.
He was ready.
Yeah, and for him to say that, man, I'm willing to take a stand for it and make sure that this is illuminated right now. I think that's the key in it, because he knew he wasn't gonna get these jobs or anything once this came out. So he's ready to stand on that. And I think enough was enough. And I think that's where he rolling with. And
that's what's crazy about it all, though. Like, to Bab's point, there are a couple of jobs still open, and he's a great candidate.
Yeah.
Well, and then if he,
but he's also saying it's not about him.
He is saying that.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that is the bigger picture, and that's why. But I also looked at it as, well, if you're a great candidate for these other jobs, if you didn't get those jobs, that would certainly build your case as well.
Yeah, and if you can't prove this stuff, you're done.
Right.
Yeah, and
That's the danger
why
in the
I think
situation.
you stand on it even more, like to the point that he's doing it. Like, it's okay. I understand. I'm not getting these jobs, but wait till you see this documentation that I got right here.
Right.
You wanna blow your world.
615-737-1045. We'll be right back. More on this Brian Flores situation. This is 3HL.
Oh, it is the month of love. You know what I love? I love clean carpets. Clean carpets is what I love, and Zero Res can give you all that love. Insanely clean love carpets. Yes, please. You can get it too. And here's the deal. Not only are they insanely clean carpets, they're also safe. Insanely clean carpets, because Zero Res does not use chemicals, no harsh chemicals, pure safety for your family and all of your pets. No soap, no residue, soft, fluffy carpets that stay clean longer, unlike some other carpet cleaning companies. And also, they dry faster as well. They have the highest approval rating possible from the Carpet and Rug Institute. Zero Res rated the #1 cleaning system in the nation by an independent testing laboratory. So when they clean, there's nothing left behind, and the proof is out there. Here's what they have going on for the month of love for you. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, plus a free room of carpet protector to help repel the allergens. That's $119. That's it. And then they're also offering $50 off of air duct cleaning. Some restrictions apply. Here's your phone number, 615-535-9376. That's ZeroResNashville.com at 615-535-9376. It's Zero Res. You spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean. Don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning.
3HL 1045 The Zone, talking about this Brian Flores lawsuit. Trying to get a class action lawsuit together. Looks like. Was on CBS morning show this morning.
He was on, I think it was Get Up,
Get
right?
Up, yep,
this
too.
morning.
And again, to your point, Babs, like it's kind of weird timing, like in that there are a couple of jobs open. So like it would make sense to go through the process. And if you got one of those jobs, great. If you didn't, you would have more ammunition.
Right.
To your case.
But then at some point, it's bigger than just getting a job. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about.
And clearly, that's where he is. That's a great point. That's where he is.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's if you have the info behind you to back you up and the documentation and hardcore evidence, like we were talking off air, man, you a coaching job, you bigger than that. Like you don't even need to coach no more. You leading a whole different movement.
I think it would be difficult to coach.
Yeah, there you go.
After I think it's going to be difficult regardless of how this turns out.
Right. Well, and yes, and if he can, and it comes down to, Ramon said it beautifully this morning. It comes down to what can you prove?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you can't prove it, you're not coaching in the NFL anymore.
No.
Right.
Because those guys who are in control of those clubs want to hire who they want to hire, and they're not going to hire somebody who's going to rock the boat. That's just the way that it is.
The ultimate stamp is from them, from the owners, regardless.
And if you do prove it, then that was my point. I don't know if you're going to be a coach again because you will be kind of the not figurehead, but the face of change.
Yeah,
and you will be pulled to do so many different things.
My thing, and I hit on this when Slay read the statement yesterday, we will defend against these claims which are without merit.
Right.
That's the last line of the NFL statement.
Yeah.
To me, why not investigate it?
That's the part of the word that bothered me so much.
But to Babs's point.
And my point was.
They probably already have.
Like times 5 million.
Because you don't say that without feeling like you know what's going on.
But my thing, when you say that.
The NFL is a different, man.
It's a different animal.
I mean,
they get
it's
away
the
with
shield.
it. They
their
get away with
power
anything.
is scary.
Without question.
They've already known about that. They've probably already known that this is coming for 6 months.
And that's my thing. Like but when you put a statement out like that, and then that last part, you automatically shifting my perspective or my opinion.
Right, it makes you have an opinion.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Like it's for a lot of people.
Like you said, why we can't wait? Let's wait and see what factually
that's
comes
where
out.
I am with anything like this. But a lot of people are going to read this and just go decide already.
Yeah, automatically, and a lot of them going to decide with the NFL.
And that's what a statement like that kind of statement divides, right? Like, makes you makes a lot of people come up with a decision before you have all the information. So 615-737-1045 is the number at 3HL 1045. Certainly on Twitter. Let's get Chris in here in Hermitage. Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? I hope all is well.
Yeah,
what's
man.
happening, Chris?
Hey, man, I listen to you guys every day. Y'all do a wonderful job.
Appreciate that.
And you are usually on point and think pretty quick on your feet. So I was kind of surprised that none of you guys brought this up about the Flores lawsuit. How did Bill Belichick know so far in advance that the guy was already hired, and who else knew?
So we were talking about that off air also, but you got to realize too, at the same time, man, these circles are small. So if it was
Flores said the text message came last Monday.
Yeah.
And then he was going to interview on Thursday.
Yeah, but if you think for a second, John Robinson or Vrabel can't pick up a phone and call a coach somewhere and get information to congratulate, just like the thing that just came out with A-Rod getting land down here. Stillman came out with it, but we already knew. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That is such a sewing circle. Like, I can't even tell you how gossipy coaches are. It is unreal.
It is what it is.
And I love it. It's entertaining to me.
And I understand that, but that's crazy. That's a long time in between from Monday to Thursday, you know. And
you're right.
And it kind of proves the guy's point, because how did other people know, but they kept him out of the loop and he didn't know? So it kind of makes me like, well, we're going to keep it to ourselves. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to keep him on the outside and he don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel exactly what you're saying.
It's like a good old boy inner circle thing going to me.
Well,
That's just my opinion.
Well, guess what? You ain't too far wrong on that part
I mean,
right
that
there.
definitely
Like
goes on too. I mean, it's like
part of it.
That part of it is like anything in life. It's about relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Clearly, the Rooney Rule isn't working, right? When you have one minority head coach out of 32, now to me that doesn't mean that there's a systematic, and maybe there is, but it doesn't necessarily mean to me that there's a systematic race problem in the NFL necessarily. You're talking about 32 owners that have this hiring power, right? Like, so how do you get 32 people to come to the idea of inclusion and equality and the right guy needs to get the interview and all of those things, because, none of us want to be told who to hire. Like, we want to hire the guy that we think is going to help us win.
Right.
But the reality of the situation is there are other things at play. When you put 32 people in a room, there's going to be 32 very different ideas about lots of things.
Yep.
But so how do we, like, the Rooney Rule's not working. So how do we make this a more inclusive situation?
That's where you shine the light on it at. I mean, that's where you get to.
Like when Babs opened the door and the rat started running around yesterday. You know that thing was in there when you opened that door.
Oh, stop.
Had to be.
It's a mouse.
So how did
better?
Okay, I don't want to go down that path. But like in the cartoon world, like mice are like the hero and rat is the villain.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
true. Yeah, I mean, the smaller.
Is it because they're bigger?
Yep.
Yeah.
Rats?
Mm-hmm.
It's the tail. I'm telling you, look at a rat's nasty tail, and the little mouse is smaller.
Davenport was like, "How's that thing going to die?" I'm like, "They don't die. Rats don't die."
I'm like, it's eating chocolate. And chocolate, does chocolate not kill it like it kills dogs?
It's not a dog.
So I
Listen,
never knew that about dogs.
A nuclear explosion would not kill the
You
rats.
didn't? Thank God you don't have a dog.
That's probably why.
Sugar-free gum, that'll kill a dog.
Really?
Too. Yeah.
Trey in Nashville next up. Trey, what's up, man?
Grapes.
Trey.
Oh, Trey.
I don't want Trey to say the wrong thing.
I don't want Trey to get in trouble.
Please,
Kenny the
Trey.
mailman, then we'll go to Todd Furman and get some gambling advice. Kenny, what's up?
Oh,
Hang on.
Kenny.
That's it.
There you go.
Can y'all hear me?
Kenny, what's up?
Yeah. I can't understand why my wife hates mice but plays with gerbils.
I mean, that's the same
I'll
thing,
never
isn't it?
figure that out.
Yeah,
that's the
But
cousin.
listen, speaking about Brian Flores, here's one thing I am looking forward to. He's going to be offered between $20 and $40 million to drop it right before they give depositions, because rich and powerful people hate. They will be dragged kicking and screaming into a deposition.
NFL's not going to be deposed. You're right. I mean,
Right,
they're
because
you can ask
even
any
if-
question. Nope.
Yeah, even if they not did anything illegal, they've done so much unethical with
Yeah.
don't even tell people how much money they make, to getting cities bidding against each other, to their hiring practices. They will not be deposed. I've been deposed, and the witness and I'm standing. I ran up there waving, laughing, because I live my life, in truth. And then I've seen people just touch that Bible to get sworn in, start sweating and crying and everything. So they will not be deposed
Yeah.
on this.
That's a good point, too.
Hey, y'all have a great day.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Kenny. Be safe.
Kenny the mailman came to our last Buffalo Wild Wing show.
He's the
Good to
best.
see
So did.
And lots of the 3HL listeners were glad to see him because he's been calling in shows for
Years. Probably as long as Todd Furman's been a part of this show, right?
Speaking of, somebody's got a hold of Todd Furman. I don't know what's going on.
Todd!
Weird things happen in Vegas, man.
Oh, somebody got a hold of him?
I don't know.
He got sniped.
Well, guess what? You know what the thing is? I probably could fill in for Todd Furman. Because
You think
yesterday I could have been 3. I was
Listen.
1 point from being 3 from 3.
Listen, you went Preds 1.5.
Yep.
Use with the 100th win of his career.
Mm-hmm.
What about Forsberg? We haven't spent a lot of time on the Preds. We will now.
That's it.
But
It's coming.
Forsberg and Duchesne have been rocking.
Killing it. Yeah. You
And
got
then-
two going at All-Star game too this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Use and can I say Juice?
Roman Yossi.
Yep.
And Yossi,
you can
yeah.
see. You can say whatever you
I can
want.
say what I want to say. Huh?
mean, it's your show.
I always say Juice anyway.
Yeah.
So
You see.
it's Juicy. Juicy.
They're second in the West.
Juicy.
They've. won 4 out of the last 5. The only loss was in a shootout, so they've got 9 out of the last 10 possible points. Yeah. You've got the Winter Classic coming up later in the month, which we got to be there for that.
And I rode with Babs in Auburn yesterday, and they spanked their butt. Spanked that little elephant
and
butt.
dropped a Hundy on Bama. War Eagle. Roll who?
Todd Furman, you win money on Auburn last night?
No, I didn't. But if you told me that Auburn's offense in college basketball was going to be more explosive than what we've seen on the football field the last couple of years, I could have made a few bucks. Who knew, Dawn,
You're
that
the
you
worst.
Who knew, Dawn, that you went to a basketball school first and foremost? Because I'm not sure an Iron Bowl victory is in the near future for the football team.
Well, I mean, our basketball coach makes more than our football coach now, so we are a hoop school apparently.
As he probably should, given there's actual stability on the hardwoods and compared to the gridiron, where I have a slight suspicion that Brian Harstein may not be long for that particular post.
I mean, 5 coordinators in 2 seasons, Todd. I mean, what's the over/under on that total by the end of 2022 season?
I mean, and everybody knows when you bring in Kevin Steele, the goal is stability, right, in the grand scheme of things throughout the country. So, I mean, we'll see how long he lasts in Miami, but clearly everything is not right on the Plains. We'll give Brian Harstein the benefit of the doubt, though, but I would set the over-under on seasons he's down there as Auburn's head football coach. A shade more than a year if he can withstand this season.
How much of a Cinderella is this Cincinnati team when we look back, like in the offseason going into this season, or maybe when they were 7-6 and they just been blown out by the Chargers? How much of an outlier is this?
Oh, it definitely deserves a ton of credit. I mean, you haven't seen a team with this long a price tag get to the Super Bowl since the Rams did it as the greatest show on turf way back in 1999.
Yeah, we know that one.
Whatever that Super Bowl was. But you also dig into some of the metrics that the Bengals have put forth through 3 playoff games, and they leave you scratching your head because they've been outgained from a raw yardage standpoint and net yards per play against the Raiders and against the Tennessee Titans. Then they find a way to battle back against the Kansas City Chiefs, facing a 21-3 deficit. Teams that had an 18-point lead or more in the NFL this year before Sunday were 115-1. The only team that erased that kind of deficit was the Baltimore Ravens against the Indianapolis Colts on Monday Night Football. So it just goes to show that this team believes in themselves. They got a little bit of fairy dust working in their favor. We'll see if that's enough to protect Joe Burrow against the tenacious pass rush of the Los Angeles Rams.
I love the Rams, but Matthew Stafford does make me really nervous 3 times a game.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I think when you look at Matthew Stafford and some of his poor decision-making, you can understand those interceptable throws. He obviously dodged a bullet with Jaquiski Tart, dropping the ball right in his chest that had all the potential to change the trajectory of that particular football game. But to Stafford's credit, he finally is able to shake some of those demons that plagued him as a member of the Lions. He doesn't have to do it all on his own in this game. They should be able to run the football. They should be able to do enough defensively, and that's part of the reason you've seen this number that opened 3.5 leak out into 4.5 and maybe even 5 before we're talking at this time next week.
At what point do you push back?
At 6, it becomes a slightly different handicap for me when I look at this particular number.
Wow.
Then you begin to try and figure out where the Bengals can have an advantage. One of the big storylines, though, that I don't think the casual fan will follow that's definitely going to have an impact, without C.J. Uzomah out there at the tight end position, there is a massive drop-off to Drew Sample, his backup, and I think it changes some of what Cincinnati can do as far as sustaining drives, being able to work over the middle of the field, if you assume that the Rams are going to do what Kansas City did and try and neutralize Jamar Chase and force somebody else wearing the Bengals black and white to beat them.
Man, Todd, you threw me for a little curveball right there. 6 is a lot. I thought if we got to 5, I might roll with the Bengals if we got to 5. I'm
not sure it's going to get to 6, Slay, but when you talk about some of the key numbers out there, I mean, we know about 3, we know about 7, but once you get through 4, there's nothing to stop some of that momentum from going from 4.5, bypassing 5, getting to 5.5. So maybe there's a scenario where books have a little bit of liability going to the Rams, that they would dangle a 6 out there and try and see if there was at least an appetite from professional bettors to kind of take it back.
So at 5, you still like the Rams?
Yeah, at 5, it doesn't change the handicap for me. And to be quite honest, if I'm betting this game, and I haven't bet it yet, the only way for me to look would be at the Rams money line, hoping that price comes down, because we've talked about this at great lengths, Brent, and this may be a little bit newer to you, Slay. When you look at the way that the Super Bowl gets bet, typically people will walk to the window, they want to bet the favorite, they'll lay the points. they want to bet the underdog, they'll bet them on the money line. So you'll get a distorted money line in play here that you actually can save a few cents betting the favorite just to win, more so than laying the points.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Put that in my Rolodex.
Do you dive into all the crazy props that we'll all start to see between now and the next time you're on with us?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll look at a lot of the player props that are out there, try and isolate a matchup or two where we think a player is either overvalued or undervalued. It's not typically the top line numbers for, will Cooper Kupp score a touchdown? I'm not going to lay that price, even if I believe there's a high probability it's going to happen. More often than not, when I build out my prop profile and portfolio for the Super Bowl, it's probably about 65 to 70% under bets than it is rooting for things to happen. I love nothing more typically when I watch the big game on Super Bowl Sunday to root for a contest that ends 3-0 where both teams have 37 total yards of offense, because more often than not, that's going to correlate to me having a good day at the window.
Especially in a lightning bet, right? That would be amazing.
Hey, I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, everybody loves for high-scoring games. They love to root for offense and a lot of those fantasy football-type stats, but odds makers know that. And typically, they're going to inflate a lot of those price tags. So when you're talking about a Cooper Kupp, you're talking about a Jamar Chase, professional bettors don't bet them under 5 days before the game. They wait till about 45 minutes before when the public's driven up those price tags, and that's where they can come in over the top.
You told me something.
Where are we with the Titans? Do we have NFL futures for next year yet?
Yeah, we do have some prices available, and I'm not sure if Titans fans are optimistic that Ryan Tannehill can be the man to take them over the top or not. But when you look out top to bottom, it is the Buffalo Bills listed as the favorite. They're out there in single digits. Tennessee checks in with a group of teams right around 20-1. Obviously, every sports book will vary a little bit, but it puts them in a class of the Chargers, the Denver Broncos, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Arizona Cardinals. And while I think a lot of people would be surprised, they go, wait a second, that the Bengals are sitting at 20-1, I can tell you that if the Bengals win total comes out inflated next year, that it's going to be one of the more popular bets from professional bettors looking to go under, knowing that the Bengals' schedule will not be consistent with the team that we saw on a week-in, week-out basis.
What about Preds Cup chances as we sit here at the All-Star break?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the team has definitely played well. I mean, you look at some of the grit they showed last night. It wasn't exactly the best performance in the first period from UC Saros and company, but they settled down nicely and were able to get a little bit of separation against the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, when you're looking at the NHL landscape, I mean, books have done everything they can to inflate the price on the Colorado Avalanche. At FanDuel right now, they're 4.5-1. But I think the Avs are a team that's a little bit flawed. Yes, they have the star power up front. I'm not sure Pavel Francouz and Darcy Kemper give them the backbone that they need. So when you're looking to try and find teams in the Western Conference, I think the Preds would be a very difficult out, the same way that I think the Minnesota Wild could give Colorado all they can handle and then some. So the Preds right now are priced at 25-1, and it puts them in a group of, as far as Western Conference teams, with the Minnesota Wild a shade better at 22-1, Calgary at 25, and then you're talking about the Dallas Stars and Edmonton Oilers right behind them at 40.
That was one of your bets in the offseason. You said there's value in the Predators to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're able to continue some of this forward. All that being equal, I definitely wasn't optimistic about Matthew Shane having a career renaissance like he's done. We know what Phil Forsberg can do when he's healthy, and I think having those two as a 1-2 punch, along with that level of physicality they bring on a nightly basis, it's been a fun team to watch that doesn't get enough credit, especially when you have a guy that may assert himself in the Calder Cup race or in the Calder race in Tanner Janot.
And it's a lot of fun when you got a guy that's over here betting on them, like me.
Yeah, I mean, Slay, I'm sure you've been able to profit quite handsomely, betting on the Preds. I know you're a puck line guy more than anything else, so you probably got a little bit of sweat out of it when Vancouver pulls the goalie with about 2.5-3 minutes to go.
Yeah, and guess what, Todd? What I've started to do, if I don't bet the money line with the Preds and I bet with the points, then I don't watch. It's that simple. That's what I did last night. I can't handle it.
That's why they legalized sports gambling.
Hey, the other way to try and do things, Slay, I mean, if you're always worried about, the price on the money line, you like to lay a puck and a half, you can bet part of your position on the money line, part at -1.5. That way, if the Preds at least win the game, you can negate some of the damage that the juice will do. If they win by exactly one, it's more or less a wash for you.
Todd, you came along at the right time, right before spring.
Real quick, Grizzlies and NBA Finals.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, it's been a hell of a story to watch. I mean, Ja Morant, you've seen his odds shortened substantially from where they were. at the beginning of the season. I mean, he's just inserted himself right in that MVP discussion.
Yep.
The Grizz right now 30-1 to win the NBA championship, and when you look at the Western Conference, the Lakers are shorter odds, but that's as much them being a public team. You couldn't pay me to back the Lakers at 18-1 right now, given the dumpster fire we've seen there. The Jazz, they're scuffling a bit, but you have to think that Donovan Mitchell will be healthy at some point, returning from the concussion, although the loss of Joe Ingles, I think, will loom large. So I would throw them out of the mix. I mean, Memphis, despite having, experience working against them, no reason to believe that they can't be the third best team in the West behind Golden State and Phoenix.
Champion coming from the East?
When I look at it right now, honestly, I'd be more than happy to fade some of that Brooklyn Nets stock that's out there. I keep waiting for the Bucks to click it into high gear. If you're trying to find a little bit of value, assuming that the 76ers would still consider shopping Ben Simmons and trying to get an extra piece to put them over the top, I think the Sixers and Heat are arguably the two best bets as far as numbers are concerned when you're looking to find a team coming from off the pace. I'm not convinced that Brooklyn deserves to be a 3-1 favorite because there's no guarantee that Kyrie will be able to play home games for them even in the postseason. And my overall feeling when I watch this team is this an experiment that's gone completely off the tracks, and they're wilting under some of the pressure that they have on them to be this super team.
Love it. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Thanks,
All right, at Todd Furman, Bet the Board podcast. You need to check that out.
Man, I wanted to dive in some more of that basketball.
Well, we get him next week.
Oh, yeah, I ain't tripping. It just, he excited me when he got to talking like that.
Gave you a new idea on the Preds, too.
Yeah, yes.
More 3HL when we come back. Again, Taylor Lewan coming up in about 17 minutes. Stay tuned.
What up, people? You know who it is. It's me, and I got to let you know about my partner, Ryan Kelly, and his people, the Home Loan Expert. It goes together. Ryan Kelly and the HomeLoanExpert.com. From new home loans to refinances, get great low rates and top-notch customer service at the HomeLoanExpert.com. You want to close your home loan in as little as 21 days? That's who you need to reach out to, and they make it real easy. Now, if you're struggling with bills and debt and you need to figure out that your home is your biggest asset, they can lead you right down the right avenue. And with home equity so right now, it is the perfect time to do a cash-out refi. They can lower your monthly payment, give you cash to pay off your debt, and have you skip a few mortgage payments. Who wouldn't like to do that? Now, what you really need to know is, last year, the average cash-out refi was, I don't know what kind of drum roll that is, but $52,000, people. You can get that from the new home loans to refinances, great low rates, all of this and more at thehomeloanexpert.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Taylor Lewan coming up at 5 o'clock. Titans offensive tackle. They save a whole bunch of money by cutting that dude.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
And I love him. I know he's kind of a divisive guy. Like, some people love him, some people hate him. I love him. But I love the entertainment value of sports, and I love people that have personality.
Yep.
Yes.
Whether I agree with everything they do or say or not, that doesn't matter to me. Like, just you be you. Like, I want to know you. And he's very out there with who he is. And that's why I always enjoy the conversation.
I liked him more after I heard his interview on the Pivot with Ryan Clark and Channing.
Oh, the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast. Yep.
Channing Tatum?
Yeah.
No, but he did walk by on Radio Row.
Did he?
And my wife happened to be there too.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Yep, Channing Crowder and Fred Taylor. Yep, that was
Freddie T. Blaine
Fred
Bishop
Taylor.
will tell you that's a Hall of Fame running back.
man.
to him.
Everybody speaks so highly of Fred Taylor.
Yep.
I've never heard anybody say anything.
He said that guy was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Had some injury issues, but man, he was on that Jacksonville team that they won every game, but the ones they played against the Titans.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was
Undefeated
crazy.
against
He
everybody.
talked about that too in the Pivot too.
0-3 against the
Taylor
Titans.
Lewan sitting right there.
Yeah.
Tell me, he don't know if he should hit him in the knees or what.
Looking forward to that.
It's gonna be good.
I thought Dawn put something great out on Instagram, if I can pull that up.
Donna put something great out there. You just got to pay attention.
Doesn't happen all that often. So once in a while, you got to,
No, man, my
check it
favorites are
out.
all Baby Babs, man. Like, I love, especially when Baby Babs is at school doing something.
Or she was swimming the other
She got
day.
to
That was
swim
good,
the other
too.
day.
Yeah.
It was
Except
good.
she won't let the, we go to Safe Splash in Cool Springs.
Yeah.
She will not let the instructor touch her.
She wrote,
Really?
I'm like, Baby Babs, you have to learn to swim.
You do not call that child that.
Mama ain't helping you learn to swim. That is why we are here.
Yeah, this is the reason.
Mom ain't getting in that pool.
Oh, I had to get in the pool.
You had to.
And all she wants to do is jump off the side and jump into the pool. I'm like, you
She don't
can't
wanna
swim
swim.
yet. You can't just do that. You got to learn the water on your face part.
You should take Buck Rising with you to swim class because he
There
can't
you
swim.
go. Oh,
Bucket.
that's
Oh.
right.
Mm-hmm.
There
Buck,
we go.
how
Safe
great would
Splash.
that
I
be?
got to get them as
Give
an
him a safe
endorser
splash.
for Buck.
How great would that video be of Buck jumping to Dawn?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Jump to my arms.
That would be amazing.
You posted this last year and then reposted. It's great. I wish more women realize that helping another woman win, cheering her on, praying for her, or sharing a resource with her does not take away from the blessings coming to them. In fact, the more you give, the more you receive. Empowering women doesn't come from selfishness, but rather from selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
That is
man.
true. How often do I always say women are so awful to other women?
Mm-hmm.
Lift each other up. Help a sister out.
Yes, and let's transfer that into everybody, man. We got a
Right?
lot of
Lift each other up.
divisiveness going on, man. Look, life is short.
Mm-hmm.
Love each other.
Got to love. Got to love.
God, that's what I was waiting for. Come on. Come on,
always
Slade.
right there,
Let's do
man.
this. Let's take a quick break and then let's get Taylor Lewan ready, and we'll do that when we come back. Taylor Lewan, Titans offensive tackle next on 3HL.
Love
You know what this awful weather is perfect for? Daddy Rack Tennessee Straight Whiskey. They're talking about winter weather advisories again, ice storms, and just stay inside and drink whiskey. I mean, what's better than that? No responsibility here whatsoever, except to sip on Daddy Rack Tennessee Straight Whiskey, and you can get it done. It is so good. Perfect for sports, like as you celebrate your team's victory or as you lament your team's loss. You can drown your tears in Daddy Rack Tennessee Straight Whiskey. Smooth, mellow, no additives. It is an any weather whiskey, but perfect for these cold and dreary days and evenings. So when you're watching your favorite sports team, hanging out by the fire, or enjoying your happy hour with your friends, make Daddy Rack Tennessee Straight Whiskey, which, by the way, is locally made in Columbia, Tennessee. Make it your choice for whiskey drinking. Daddy Rack Tennessee Straight Whiskey and every man's whiskey. Ask for it at your favorite bottle shop and try some today. That's Daddy Rack Tennessee Straight Whiskey.
Good evening. I am Joe Hunk, and the NFL and the Washington football team has announced that their new name is the Commanders. Get ready, because the Titans will be heading up to Washington to take on the Commanders in those uniforms that just have a W on them now. The Grizz play tonight against the New York Knicks. That game is happening at MSG. You'll be able to watch that game on ESPN starting at 6:30. And former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores was on with CBS Mornings, and he talked about the fact that the Miami Dolphins owner offered him money to lose football games.
Look, this game's done a lot for me. I grew up not far from here, in the projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Didn't grow up with a lot. And this game, changed my life. So to attack the integrity of the game, that's what I felt was happening in that instance, and I wouldn't stand for it.
And that was Dolphins owner Stephen Ross.
Yes.
And you think it hurt your career?
I think it hurt my standing within the organization, and ultimately was the reason why I was let go.
For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to go visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Vols, the flagship station for your Tennessee Titans, and home to 3HL. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Yo, what up, Nashville? 3HL on the air, 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport. What up, Don?
Hi.
Swaggy P. Knuckles on Twitter. Babs is Woman of the Year every day.
Aw, that was very sweet.
You think that's true?
Hell no, but that's okay. I'll take it.
Hunk is back.
Sup?
What up?
How's it going?
And then we got this guy, the big man in the corner.
I'm in the building. Hey, I'm in the building. 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 I'm in the building.
What up, Slay Dog?
What up, people?
Ron Slay.
What's happening?
Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day.
Hump Dizzy.
Happy, what is this day? Groundhog Day.
Round his all day.
Yeah, 6 more weeks away, according to that fat-ass groundhog.
He can suck it.
Hey. Yeah.
This guy, Taylor Lewan, just tweeted, about to go live with 3HL. I've made it. I think that's probably true, Taylor. What's up, man?
Yeah, guys, electric stack to be here as always. Listen to you guys probably 3 times a year because you don't want to let it soak in during the season. But every single time I listen, I'm never disappointed.
Well, good. That means you never hear what we say about you.
Yeah.
How could you be
That makes me
disappointed?
feel better.
Hey, Don, I got people that tell me that kind of stuff. It's all good.
That's funny. What's going on, man? How are you?
Man, I am in beautiful Cave Creek, Arizona right now. I could not find a cloud in the sky if I wanted. And it's about 57 degrees and it's dry. It's beautiful out here. So I'm just decompressing, got some family around me. It's been a nice week. Season ended a little too early for me.
Yeah.
But now that it's over, decompressing, obviously the end of the season, it's like a transition for me with my family. Like I come back in, I'm all super competitive. I'm racing my daughter to her bedroom before she goes to night, and I beat her by a mile, and she gets pissed. But that's life, honey. You win and you lose.
Did I see on your on your beautiful wife's Instagram that perhaps you guys are opening some kind of restaurant or bar or something there, right? Some kind of venue.
Cat's out of the bag. So I don't know if you guys have ever been to Cave Creek, Arizona. Let me just lay down the groundwork for you. It's the truest form of a western town you can still find in this beautiful country of ours. You drive up north about 25 to 30 minutes from Scottsdale, which everybody knows about Scottsdale, and you cruise through this small town, and you notice there's no mom and pop shop. There's no franchises, just mom and pop shops. Mm-hmm. There's not even a light to be seen. About 5,200 people locally, right? Then all of a sudden the weekend hits, and it's like a mini, tiny, itty-bitty Broadway, and there is 9 acres of a bar. And I thought to myself, win, lose, what do? You still booze. So why wouldn't we give this thing a try? It's the most fun place in the world. It's a beautiful place to raise a family. I love it. So we're going to give it the old college try and see what happens.
Man,
Love
we
it.
need invited to that, man.
Yeah, a little show
Can you
trip.
shotgun on
It's not even
balls? Can
open
we
yet.
keg
It's not even
stand?
open yet.
Okay, I was going to christen it with a
Hey,
keg stand.
we can do anything. It's the off season. We can do whatever we want now.
There you go.
I
I
don't
think
know.
you have a bus or something. You could transport us there, right?
Like 2, 6,
No
8
doubt.
dudes doing keg stands. I don't know what that.
I think that'll be
what
worth
that's
it.
So I could see you like behind the bar, like in the offseason and stuff like that. Like you would want all in on that part of it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm a people person. I like pleasing the people. So like kind of being around, shaking hands, kissing babies, I enjoy the whole thing. So I have a really good friend of mine. We've always talked about owning a bar, and he's been in the bar business for a long time. It's a fun deal. It's the town I grew up in, and it's just a really cool. It just makes me feel warm and fuzzy when I think about it. So I'm very excited.
Taylor Lewan with us on 3HL. How hard has it been to try to get over what happened in that Cincinnati game? Because I try to tell people all the time, like the NFL season is it's almost like going down the interstate at 100 miles an hour, and then if you have a playoff loss, and 31 teams do, it's like you just hit a wall and it's over. That's got to be hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and more than anything, this year more than ever. In 2019, when we were like the 6th seed or whatever the lowest seed was, I know they changed it, and we went on that run. When it ended, you obviously wanted to go to the Super Bowl and win, but there was a level of wow, like we've really got something going here in Nashville now. Like we really can do this. And I think being the 1 seed, going through all the adversity, 91 guys playing NFL record, that just shows the culture that John wanted to establish, the culture that Mike Vrabel did establish. It's just special. And when you go and have a train wreck like that, it's tough. And I'm 2 weeks removed, and every day I kind of sit there and I'm like, damn it, like we could have really done this thing. If a couple things would have went our way, we could be playing in the game next week. And it's a hard pill to swallow because you never know if you can recreate it again.
You talk about a couple of things have gone our way. Obviously, turnovers are what's talked about after that game, and a lot of criticism on your quarterback and a lot of opinions on Ryan Tannehill and the performance that he put out there during that game. What is your take on Ryan Tannehill, on what happened, on the struggles in that last game?
Yeah, man, Ryan sucks, doesn't he? He's the worst. All he did was come in here and revamp a franchise and bring us to the playoffs the last 3 years. You know what? Screw that guy, man, for being the heart and soul of this team, a team that just keeps fighting through adversity. For me, I mean, when you're in the building every single day, and 3 or 4 times this year, Ryan had to have a different left tackle playing the game.
Yeah.
Not having me last year after I tore my ACL, not having – when we played the Patriots game, the only drafted players on the offense were me, Roger Saffold, Ben Jones, and Ryan Tannehill. And the first half of that game and into the third quarter, we were in that game. We rushed for 200 yards. Ryan did a great job throwing the ball around. And for everyone that's upset with Ryan about the interceptions, here's the first thing everyone needs to realize. And this one might not make me a fan favorite, but y'all don't know anything. Not you guys. The fans, they really don't know. And it could have been a wide receiver running the wrong route. It could have been a guy in his face from protection. It's the reason why it's the greatest team sport ever is because it just can't be one guy that makes it work for everybody else. It's not you can't have a LeBron James in his prime come in and just help the Cavaliers go to the playoffs and make it deep. You can't do that. And Ryan has been a guy that has made those gutsy throws time and time again, and he was celebrated for it, loved for it. The city of Nashville was praising his name, and unfortunately a couple things happened in this game that I don't even know whose fault it was, right? I don't know what should or should not have happened. For me, it's this is the protection, you're by yourself, and there's Trey Hendrickson, you got to block that guy so we have enough time to get down. And so I love Ryan, and I think emotions are high, and that's how fans should be. They should have their emotions high. They should be pissed off because we did lose, and they have every right to be angry. But next year, I think, you ride with Tannehill, and he's gonna do what he's always done for us. Give us a fighting chance to win a game every single week. And I think that's a beautiful thing about the NFL. You don't win 12, go 11-5 and 12-5 all the time. And we've been able to do that two years in a row. I mean, we all know back in 2014 when your boy was wet behind the ears just with the backpack on, hoping to make a couple bucks in the NFL, we couldn't buy a win, and now this franchise has turned into something that is respected week in and week out when you go play other teams. There's a culture.
It's amazing how different that culture is now, too, right? Like from when you first got there.
God, isn't it wild?
Yeah.
Like, when I remember showing up in 2014 and looking at people and being like, all right, we got a squad, not knowing anything, right? And now you look at the roster and you're like, damn, we didn't have anything going on. We had Delaney Walker, you know? and you had a tight end getting triple coverage, and we were still losing by 30. And we had, a shout out to Amy Strump for bringing in John Robinson, 6 winning seasons, and then him saying, all right, we went to the playoffs with Mike Mularkey, but that's not good enough. We're taking Mike Vrabel, a guy who, honestly, guys, and I hate blowing up Braves because he loves it. But the guy his football intelligence is beyond anything I've ever seen. He has the guys in the right spot. The guys know the rules. If you look at a simple situation like the Raiders and the Bengals, when they were playing the wild card weekend, there was a kickoff, and the guy went to field the kickoff right near the end zone.
Yeah.
Every guy who was on that kickoff return team on the Titans would have known you need to step out before you touch the ball because then the ball is dead and then there's a penalty. He does an amazing job of breaking things down for guys and making sure they know the rules and they use them to their favor. And so this franchise is going to be, as long as those two guys are around, this franchise is going to be great for a long time.
As long as we're talking about Braves and kind of blowing him up, Coach of the Year, right? Like, no doubt.
Oh, God. Listen, here I go again, dude. My knees are getting sore. He is by far Coach of the Year. By far, without a doubt. Like, it's not even close. There are great coaches out there. Obviously, LaFleur is a great coach. I thought it was Brian Flores. Is that the coach of Miami who was – they obviously split up, and there's a lot of things going on with them right now we don't need to get into. I have no business even talking about it. 7 games in a row when you have a team that looks like they don't have a chance, and all of a sudden they won so many games. And there's a lot of coaches that can win this, but I think Braves, the adversity we went through and him instilling this culture, it goes without. It's a slam dunk to me.
Taylor Lewan with us on 3HL from where are you in Arizona? I just looked it up. Cave Creek.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Cave Creek, baby.
All right. How far away from Sedona is that?
I'd say it's about an hour 20. Beautiful rocks up there.
Yeah, no question. Well, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in Sedona. Do you have weird stuff in Cave Creek?
Yeah, no, there's no energy vortexes like that.
Yeah.
Sedona's a weird spot, man. Sedona's got that big time hippie vibe, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a wild little spot, and then 45 minutes down the road from Sedona, there's a place called Jerome, Arizona.
I've been there.
Old mining town.
Roman
Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's like on a mountain, but it's like completely haunted. And I don't know if you guys don't believe in ghosts or not, but your boy's in it. Like, I'm the dude out there watching Ghost Adventures. Like, I see this stuff, and I'm like, 100% real.
Taylor,
100%, no doubt about it.
Listen, I'm coming out there. We're gonna go investigate Jerome. We'll put our little spin on that thing and tell some stories.
Yeah, that's their way.
Dude, the high
some
school
of those detectives out there will make it all work.
The high school looks like, and nobody will get this reference, maybe Dawn. But the high school in Jerome looks like the high school in Nirvana Teen Spirit video.
Yes.
I've actually seen that video, and you're right.
There you go. How much of a grind was this season? You kind of went into that, but 91 guys playing. You were injured in and out, never 100%. Most of the guys were like that. How much of a grind was this season on y'all?
Well, after the first full padded practice of camp, no one is 100%. No one feels the best they've ever felt in their life. And for me, I had a lot of expectations for myself going into the season that I wanted to accomplish, and it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. Obviously, the infamous week 1 where Chandler Jones treated me like a little boy, that was never fun. No one enjoyed that, especially Tannehill. But the thing that I'm proud of the most is as the season kept going, I didn't waver, and I just kind of kept getting better at, whether it was the pass game, screen game, run game, all those things. And, if we're looking at things from an unbiased opinion, because obviously I'm talking about myself, like my run game, it was not up to par. It wasn't what it should have been. It wasn't what it's been in the past. Obviously we still had a lot of success in the run game, But if I was, 2 years ago, 2020, I think we would have, I like to think we'd have even more success and maybe, not one guy wins a game, but, helps out in a much bigger fashion. From a pass pro standpoint, week one happens, and surprisingly enough, statistically, it wasn't my worst game ever. I had 2 sacks and then a brutal bunch of hits and pressures, and just really wasn't ready out there physically and mentally when I went out. But as the year kept going, I gave up 1 sack the rest of the year, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of coming and working through that because, you guys don't know, but like when you go and you get beat up, treated real bad the way Chandler Jones treated me, it puts you in a tough mental spot, and you got to continuously work through it, and then to tack on the injuries to go with it, and those things are normal. And I go and I talk to every doctor, every specialist, like, hey, why is my back hurt? Why is my knee still feeling this way? And it's kind of a consensus thing that knee is attached to the hip, which is attached to the back, and then so on and so forth. And it's kind of how the game goes, and those issues come up quite a bit in the first year of having an ACL repair. So more than anything, I'm excited to come back to prove to myself that I can still be the same person.
You talk about excited to come back. You, percentage-wise, where are you on that will be here in Nashville with the Titans?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Don. I could go and break everything down. Like, I know that if I'm making 12 this year, my dead cap is 1.7 or whatever it is. That's a pretty beautiful chunk to take and save and all that. Well, it really just depends what John really thinks I'm capable of doing. I know that John and I have had a lot of conversations, especially his first year, and when they had the number 1 overall pick, and everyone was saying, hey, take a tackle, move Taylor to right. And we had a very long, extensive conversation, and that I'm not saying I did it, but the pick got traded. And I've done a good job for him ever since then. And obviously, they're going to do what they think is best for the team. I want to be a Titan, and I think I will be a Titan. There's not a whole lot of doubt in my head. When you get asked these questions, you don't want to sit there and be like, I'm 100% back, and then 2 weeks later, John calls you and says, hey, bring your playbook, buddy, it's over. But I sit there and I have a lot of confidence being there for 8 years, knowing those guys, knowing the coaches, and them knowing me that I like to think I'd be back. But like I said, they have to make the best decisions for this team.
It's such a business, that. I mean, you just spouted out your dead cap money. I'm sure everybody kind of pays attention to those things. Roger Saffold in a similar situation, but how hard would it be for you to put on another uniform?
So hard, I don't know if I would. That's how hard I think it would be.
Wow.
I tell you what, man, a lot of people come into the NFL and want to make money and don't care who they play for, but even on this, and you guys have said your piece on me before, good and bad, and everybody has. And Nashville, I've told my wife this, I think with my personality and who I am, and I've tried to play the All-American boy captain guy before, and it just doesn't play off for me. And the city of Nashville, when I came in 2014, just took me under their wing and allowed me to be myself and allowed me to flourish not only as a player but as a person and find out who I really am. When you're in college, you don't remember your weekends, right? And you spend your weeks grinding in the weight room. Mm-hmm. So I came out of college with not really knowing who I was, not having a solid foundation of who is Taylor Lewan. And, this city, damn, man, this city means everything to me. I love them. I love them to death. And to go back on the cap thing, when I signed my contract, I was the highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL. And now if an average tackle in the league is making $16, $17, $18 million a year. And so I know it sounds kind of wild, but in a weird, crazy Twilight Zone sense, I'm not very expensive for the caliber of player I am and the caliber of player I know I can be. And, I just love this damn city so much.
Did you think that, I'm curious, when you got drafted, what did you know about Nashville? Look back to that version of Taylor Lewan. Could you imagine yourself saying these things about Nashville these years later?
No, because I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ask somebody who met me in 2014 at Losers, 15 beers in, trying to sing with the band, they'd be like, "This guy's not going to make it."
Dawn's raising her hand.
I'm like, I actually met you there.
100%, 100%, and it was just like I was a wild person, getting after it left and right and center, man. It was go to practice, then go out with the boys, go to play a game, then go out with the boys, and it's just been a big transition for me. And the luckiest thing I've ever done in my life was meet my wife, because I met her when I was done with year 2 going into year 3.
Yeah.
And I obviously kind of touched on the conversation that me and John had. But before that, I met my wife. I proposed her in 5 weeks, because I knew, I was like, if I can be good enough for this woman, then I'm going to be all right. And so I proposed her. We get married in a small church of Vanderbilt or something like that with nobody around. I couldn't take you back to that church if I wanted to. I couldn't find it. And I went on a website. And found a 24-hour guy, this heavier set gentleman who did the whole vow thing for us. And I now pronounce you husband and wife by the power vested in me by soandso.com, right? This whole thing. And we did it, and I was able to make 3 Pro Bowls. But that's not me, dude. That's me with my wife, Taylor. Like, if it was just me and the person that Don saw at Losers, that dude's not making 3 Pro Bowls. That dude's getting after it too much, and then waking up 10 years later going, all right, I did all right. But, it wasn't what I could have been. And these last few years have been just tough. You get a PED, and half the people think you're a scumbag cheater, and the other half believe you that you didn't do it, but there's nothing you can really do, because opinions are opinions. And, you take a lie detector test and hopefully people believe that. And then, you start off 2020 with 5 good games. I'm playing great ball, and you tear your ACL. Like, these are things you can't control. And so it would hurt a lot, because I know how much I can give. And not having an off season last year to train and condition and be as strong as I was, like, put on the film from this year to 2019, 2020, like, my conditioning's not as good, my speed's not as good, my explosion's not as good, my strength's not as good. And so I've never been a person to, like, hide from, like, no, I'm good. I'm still this guy. It's like, listen, I wasn't that guy last year, and that's okay. But yeah, like, I have to have grace for myself, knowing that came back from an ACL, it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Give him hell next year. So because now my knee feels great, and I have a whole off season to train. And if people know anything about me who's been around me, the boy works. So I'm excited.
And I know that everybody appreciates your transparency, your honesty.
Always been that way.
You've always been that way. Yeah. And like, your maturity, it's ridiculous nowadays. You mentioned the mental part of it, and where you struggled even this year, starting the season like that with the injury, going back to the PEDs, all of this, the mental side of this game and this profession and this career. And I know you mentioned your wife, and I know she's probably a big piece of how you deal with that, but how else have you kind of strengthened that part of who you are and where you are?
The mental side of it's been a thing for me for years. I've always in the offseason go, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that, and then it never really happens. Because then you get the farther you get away from the season, the less it hurts. Whatever the game was, whatever the sack was, the farther you distance yourself from that situation, the better you feel. And then you think, oh, I'm all good. I'm a dog. I'm this. I'm that. And then when I got the week 1 situation, for me, it was like, there's no way for me to run from these mental demons going in my head. Like, oh, am I going to go get exposed again like that? Is this my life now? Is this who I've become? And so instead of running away from those insecurities, it was kind of about facing them head on and talking with someone, meeting with someone. And the Titans have a crew called Cheat Code that they actually introduced this year. And it was like, wow, like what, like it's staring me right in the face that I have an outlet like this to figure out, what the mental hurdles are right in front of me. So why wouldn't I go and take advantage of that? And because of that, it not only allowed me to play better football, not my best football, but better football, and be an adequate player on this team. But the thing that hurt the most during that wasn't like, I'm not going to get a Pro Bowl, I'm not going to be this. It's like, for me, it was like, man, I don't want my teammates to lose their respect for me. You think of a guy like Jeffrey Simmons, who just got in the league. This is his third year. The first year of a PED, the second year I have an ACL. Like, he doesn't know me. He doesn't know the player that I've been here for a while. And so it's like my biggest fear, my biggest insecurity dealing with that was like, man, I really hope, these guys, and Jeff's just a specific one individual of a bunch, but like I hope these guys don't lose respect for me and think I'm just like clowning around and joking around, because regardless of what happens on the field, I'm still going to enjoy my life. I'm still going to be happy and joking around and stuff like that. And it was tough. It was a really difficult thing. So they helped me so much. Armando was the main guy I worked with, and they were outstanding. And I'm going to continue to do that because it's more than just lifting weights and running gassers. It really is.
Taylor, man, listen, you got a quality that I got in myself, man. It's being loyal to a fault. And I think if you get the opportunity to go into the room.
That's definitely true, by the way. Yeah.
If you get the opportunity to go into a room and they tell you, Taylor, man, you can say your goodbyes. It ain't gonna be no goodbyes, man, because they're gonna tell you we're gonna re-sign you. Because young man, you got something in you, dog. You got this. This is my first time getting to really lock in and talk straight to you, man. You got something in you, man. And I think you belong right here in Nashville. So, man, you showed me something today, man. I appreciate your honesty. And Don talked about it early in the year. But your honesty is one thing, man, that you don't get a lot of times from players because you don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? You just go out there and do your job and go on back home. But for you to take time out and speak really from your heart, man, that's salute to you for that, man. And I think not only do I appreciate it, but Nashville appreciates that too.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. It really does mean a lot. And this is the first time we've really talked. And I think it's, some players that either come on here or go on other shows, it's tough being in a spotlight. And a lot of times guys don't want people to know the real them because it's a huge piece of vulnerability. Because I'm showing myself as this is me, this is who I am. And now people have, when you look at the mentions on Twitter and be like, oh, hey, Taylor, you're a POS, you're this. It's like, you don't know me. Right. But putting myself in these vulnerable situations, it allows people to really make a educated decision on who I am. And for me, I mean, Twitter to me is a comedy routine. Like everything I say is supposed to be a joke, and a lot of people don't get that. Some people do, but there's so many outlets in life, and why would you hurt yourself by being closed off to a world and not embracing the culture that is around you?
Well, and that's tough because I think kids growing up, I mean, their social media personality is who they want to choose to portray, and then if some people come at them, they don't know how to deal with that. That's why I love what you're saying about the mental health aspect of dealing with giving up 5 sacks. It's not about what me or Don or Slay or fan X or Y says. It's about the guys in the locker room, right? Like not letting those guys down.
Yeah, let me pause you real quick there, Bub. It was 2 sacks. He had 5 total, but 2-1. Yeah, let's not do that now. Let's not do that.
I
right?
stand corrected, Taylor.
Oh, that was so good.
And right here I am being all vulnerable with you, and then that right there sparked up the ego. And here we go, boys. We're back.
Boom, shot at the knee.
In all seriousness, I get it. And there's kids I grew up not watching sports at all. Like my heroes in life were Travis Pastrana, who's a freestyle motocross rider, and Johnny Knoxville. Like those are the type of guys that I looked up to. Yeah. Those were my people. And when I was younger, I got in trouble with the law a little bit. I was, this punk skater, nobody understands me, half-smoking cigarette from Target, 12-year-old, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was me, and my old man put me in football, and, once I started to know the game, I started to look at people, and, a huge reason why I went to the University of Michigan is because Jake Long went to Michigan. He's the reason why I wore 77. I looked up to this guy who actually lives in Nashville now, and I was like, wow, first overall pick, they just put out dudes, that's where I want to go. Because the minute I got a scholarship offer, I was like, oh, I'm going to the league. That's what we're doing, baby. And then now, this social media, you see everybody putting up their highlight tapes and, their favorite rapper's quote with them, doing whatever, crouch down and trying to be Mr. Cool Guy. And it's it's not the move, ball. Be whoever you are. And I have these kids, saying, what do I need to do? How do I become, the next Taylor Lewan or the next so-and-so? And it's like, dude, the easiest thing you can do is be yourself, work hard. And if you do those two things, regardless of the result, if it is what you want, if it's not what you want, you're going to be proud of yourself at the end. And that's what people don't realize is everybody sees the success that A.J. Brown has or Derrick Henry has or I have, and they think, oh, these guys are just, built different. And they're this. It's like, listen, we deal with stuff every single day. Like, yeah, I'm 6'7", I ran a 4.8 40. Like that stuff you can't really teach, but the work ethic that goes on in the off season is a huge part of making us who we are on Sundays. And that's my most excited thing for these kids to know and for me to get into. So next season, we can be having this conversation going, hey, what a great year. We won the Super Bowl. We did this and you played great. You're always trying to achieve this greatness, this perfection that'll never come. And it's just that's why the sport's so wild. That's why when you love it, it always breaks your heart.
Taylor Lewan with us on 3HL. He loves Dawn. He used to like me. He just met Slay. Mm-hmm. So Taylor, Slay's got this thing called the Boom Boom Room, and you've been given the opportunity to jump in if you would like.
I don't know what the Boom Boom Room is. I had a couple guesses though.
Well, let me explain to you, Taylor. Let me take all the assumption out of it, man. The Boom Boom Room is a place where you get locked in, you lock the door, and the only way you can get out is if you tell the honest truth. And if you don't, you just got to stay in the Boom Boom Room forever, man. Are you willing to do this?
Oh, 100%, dude. I think, we've spent, 33 minutes together at this point? We're full in now.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Ain't no need. Kick your shoes off, baby, and get comfortable. Let's go, Hunk.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yes. One man on his way into the Boom Boom Room.
All right, here we go, man. Taylor Lewan is entering the Boom Boom Room, man. Brought to you by LT Center. Taylor, you cannot get out of this room, man. And this right here, this is all fun. This is cries. This is no lies. But you got it right here. You got to bring it. So, first question: run left. Like why? Why do we need to run left? Tell me about that. Does that actually bring more pressure to you guys, you and Southfield, when you scream and run left?
You know what? I like that you asked that. Here's my short answer is why not, baby? You gotta do.
So Lewan, me being a competitor though, I'm over here on the right side screaming, what are he talking about? Run right. He ain't talking about nothing over there.
Yeah. Listen, Jack Conklin said the same thing and David Quisenberry said the same thing, but damn it, I don't give a, you know what I'm saying? We're running left. That's the only thing that matters to me. I think it kind of is like a facade, right? Because it takes 5, 6, 7 guys to make the run go. You run left, you get stretched, but really the backside of the line, which would be the right in the situation, is the one getting the cutoffs and making that gap open. For me, the way our system is, the run game is a live and die by the sword. Like I'm sprinting off the ball and trying to put my face on the crown of that, or on the chin of that guy, and take him to the sideline. You know, sometimes you whiff, sometimes you don't, but when you don't, baby, it's a beautiful thing. More stretch. More stretch means more opportunity for cuts backside. I'm all about the run left.
I like it. Three more questions for you, and I'm going to let you up out of here. Now, every O-line has a culture. What is the Titans' culture for their O-line?
Yeah, Keith Carter's going to kill me if I don't say this correctly. It's speed off the ball, toughness, and finish. Those are the 3 pillars. I don't know if you can make a house with 3 pillars. I think there's a 4th, but I'm missing one. Those are the 3. That's my boom boom room answer.
You can make a teepee.
I like it. All right, so you got to make a decision right here, and this right here, this might touch your heart. You got the Boss Hog truck, or you got the Mustang when it's ready.
Oh, you know about the Stang?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I ain't letting too much out the bag.
I'm just saying. Out there. I like it.
I'm just saying, Taylor. That's all. Which one? Which one you choose?
The Boss Hog. You talking about the bus or like what actually Boss Hog used in Dukes of Hazzard?
No, the Boss Hog truck. Yeah.
The truck. I don't think I have a truck.
No, the big bus, which I want to get on, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah.
Listen, you rate 5 stars, you subscribe, unsubscribe, and resubscribe, you got to take the bus 10 times out of 10 over the Mustang. Mustang's a toy. It's a fun little deal. But that bus is moving mountains, baby. That bus is moving mountains.
How fast would that Mustang get up to? when it's done.
Fast enough. Fast enough.
All right.
I'm gonna have a cool mugshot for speeding.
Without question. Without question. All right, this is the next one, my last one. Man, the next time you go to a Preds game, I've been lobbying all year. Man, Taylor Lewan got to go out there and chug a beer. I want to go out there and chug a beer. And I want to put my belly on the glass. So I need you to make it happen. The Preds ain't listening to me. I need you to make a call and get me on the glass and you on the glass, shirts off, belly on the glass, shotgun in the beer. Are you with it?
You want to go turfs off with the boys?
Come on.
Slamming beers
Come
on
on.
a catfish?
Come on.
Listen, I don't play for the Preds, but I have been talking to the Preds. And it seems like we got a little something going on. An outdoor game in Nissan Stadium. I'm not sure. Hey, I'm not a doctor. I can't write this prescription, right? But I think they're going to come out here and give it done for us. I don't know. And if they say, hey, LeWan, you get a +1, and my wife wants to stay back, guess what? That tummy's going to be pressed up the glass with me, all right?
Hey, that's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. I accept that. That's what's up. All right, Taylor Lewan, you are out of the boom boom room, my brother. Appreciate you.
I love it. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No doubt.
All right. Hey, great job, man. Sorry we kept you that long, but
hey, can I ask just one more, like, personal?
Oh, man. Here we go.
Just one more.
No, Don.
No, I want to know what the best thing about being a dad is, because I see your adorable kids, and I want to know what your favorite part about being a daddy is. See, you know the female emotional one.
Being a dad. I don't know. I think it's like teaching, like doing things that like I learned growing up. It's so simple, but like when I teach my kids something and they just start doing it, like an example is me and my wife. We went to a sandwich shop the other day, and your boys has his 2-week break. So yeah, I got me a gluten sandwich, some cheese on there. I got myself a bag of chips. And my daughter sits down and she gets herself a little bag of Cheetos. Says, "Why? When Daddy's cheating on his diet, we're all cheating on the diet." And I pull off the bread of my sandwich and I start putting my chips on my sandwich. So I like a little crunch in my lunch. And my daughter looks at me and she goes, "Why do you do that?" And I explained to her, like, having a little crunch helps a little texture. Maybe you would like it. So we start lining up Cheetos on her sandwich. We put it down, she eats it, and she loves it. Aww. And she's had a sandwich since then, and without me even telling her nothing, she went and grabbed some chips and put it on her sandwich. And to me, it's like I'm making memories with my child. Yeah. And like she's gonna, like, the rest of her life, she's gonna be like, you know, why do you put chips on your sandwich? She's like, hey, when I was 4, she might not remember this, but you know, for me, I'm gonna remember. She's like, when I was 4, my old man taught me this, and I've done it ever since. And to me, that's just like just super cool that you have this kind of like influence on a child. And you just hope, hey, listen, you just hope that God you don't screw it up, right? Like I'm worried. Then you don't want them daddy issues. You do not want those.
You're a girl dad. That's right.
I think this is.
I know. And my wife's talking about 3 right now, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get a boy. Just give me one boy. But you know me, I'm gonna have twin girls next.
You're right.
I'm having twin girls, and it's gonna be epic. I'm gonna have 4 little girls ripping around.
All right.
No testosterone in the house.
We've been doing 3HL since January of 2010. This is officially the longest commercial-free interview in the history of the show.
Officially. We appreciate you.
Taylor, hey, thank you for the time, man, and we'll check you out later. Maybe we'll come to the bar when you get that done.
That sounds like an outstanding plan. And no free drinks. We have to pay the bills.
I'll buy yours. See you, buddy.
All right, sounds good.
Taylor Lewan, 77. Buzzing with the boys. Check out the podcast. It's out there, and it's spectacular. I have no idea what's coming up next. Stay with us.
That's what's coming up next. All right, home values are up, and maybe you need that money to pay off credit cards and remodel your house, or both. Call my guys at Loan Pronto, loanpronto.com if you want to go check it out, 615-499-5780. They can convert your home equity into cash, and they can do it in as little as 2 weeks with no cost to you, zero hassle on top of it. A lot of people are doing this. I did it, and it's awesome. Loan Pronto's awesome. And you can lock in a new APR in the twos and lower your total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Let Loan Pronto help you do it. What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto and convert that home value into cash, especially in this area. Put the money to good use. You could even skip your next 2 house payments. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780. That's 499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Here is a New Year's resolution idea from my friends at Accurate Mortgage Group. They say homeowners who have resolved to be more financially responsible in 2022 are in luck. Interest rates are still low, and if your home's value has increased, it may be the perfect time to take advantage of a cash-out refinance loan. With that cash, you could pay off higher interest debts like credit cards, maybe auto or student loans, or you could remodel, potentially increase the value of your home, or even more. Not only do low rates mean more savings when refinancing, they also mean a bigger budget when you're shopping for a new home. Many of our listeners have trusted Accurate with their loans. Here's what one client had to say about working with them. I know with Accurate Mortgage Group is the best. He goes way up and beyond for his clients. That's one example. You'll have yours. Find out if a cash-out refinance is right for you. Visit Accurate today at AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage Group, a division of Acopia LLC, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 4664. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Hope you all enjoyed that. Taylor Lewan is one of the more interesting and open people you will ever talk with. Not just athletes, people.
That was it. That was what's up. I was impressed. He just got. I already liked him. He just got a fan though, right there. He just got a fan. So we on.
I just appreciate the transparency.
You said that. You always said that.
I always don't I? Because I'm like, I
that.
don't care what you say if you say if you're honest and you say what you feel, and we don't get that from athletes a lot, and so it's very refreshing.
There were so many things to kind of piece out of that. I mean, literally that was way longer than any of us normally do in local radio. But at what point where any of y'all have said, "Oh, Taylor, time to go"? You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta keep rolling. But I thought it was really interesting. After your question about what % chance do you think you have to be back here, and he said that's a fair question because of how much money they'll save and what my dead cap number is and all of those things. So he's clearly, obviously, I mean, it's his life. He's gonna know. But I thought that was interesting that he would share that, and then.
And every player knows.
Yeah, and then when we asked how hard would it be to put on another jersey, he said, "I don't know that I would."
Mm-hmm.
That was really surprising.
It was dope.
And I think that's a testament to how much he loves Nashville and how much he loves that organization.
Yep. But then you got to ask yourself also, man. You understand loyalty and you want to run it back. We would love to have Saffold back as well. Like and let's try it one more time.
Yeah.
Let's try it one more time with health involved and everybody good, a little bit of luck. What can get done then? But at the same time, you also got to be able to remove yourself and say, and this is the reason I think it hurts so bad, because you're so loyal to a franchise, and then at the drop of a dime, you just asking for one more time to run it back one more time, and I'm going to show you, and they pull the plug on it. So, I mean, you kind of left like, darn, man, where does the loyalty lie? Because in a sense, there is no loyalty.
No,
when it comes from there you go.
It's a business. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's the tough part of it, man.
Show me the money.
Hey, man, exactly. But one thing they better not do is let them walk in that room after they tell them, hey, if they were to tell them, and I ain't speaking this to existence, Taylor, we getting rid of you. We got to let you go. They better not let them come in there and have no closing remarks. Because they're going to resign him on the top. That man they'll talk his way about a phone booth, man. I love that. I'm going to be real. I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, it's your idea to have him on, which was a great one, because you had heard the conversation on the pivot with Channing Crowder and those guys. We talked about it earlier. and
which you said was phenomenal, too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Y'all go check that out. And follow it up with the Bussin' with the Boys. The first segment with him and Will Compton, he addressed some of the things, too. So he was real open, man.
Yeah, those guys are super interesting. But we were talking about it, and we were just like, well, let's just text him.
Let's try. Yeah. Yep.
And he's in Arizona opening a bar. Or building one.
Yeah, trying to get it off the ground.
Jerome, Arizona, legit.
That's a crazy name.
It's unreal.
So that was another random part of that conversation.
And that we've both been there. But if you go to Sedona, which is an interesting place too, but Jerome's there. So just hit that place up too. Literally the town was built into the side of a mountain because they were mining all of a sudden. Yeah. And Jerome almost became the capital of Arizona because there was so much money being funneled through that little bitty place. But yeah, it's severely haunted, which is amazing.
Somebody said, "Forget the business. Nashville is a family." Yeah, I feel you until it ain't.
It doesn't say forget the business.
It say, yeah,
something with an F.
Forget.
At the RHL 1045 on Twitter, so much going on. Jim Harbaugh to the Vikes. I mean, honestly, it was on my sheet to ask him about that, but we never got there. So,
I mean,
when you're talking about life,
bad position are you putting Michigan in timing wise?
Especially because remember Harbaugh used to blow up signing day, man, big.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them.
Oh, yeah. Remember he had the big party and the khakis were dancing. And
now he's talking to an NFL team about a job.
Wasn't even in the office today for National Signing Day.
Well, today doesn't count.
It does to them.
It's an opportunity to further the brand. And he was talking to an NFL team. Listen, just the optics of that. On signing day, you're interviewing with an NFL team, that tells you all you need to know.
Well, my take on it is you're leaving your school this late in the game in a pretty bad position because remember we talked about Josh Heupel in Tennessee and when he was hired and what a bad position he was in because he came in so late. Well, guess what? The year anniversary of that was what? Last week.
Mm-hmm.
So this is even later now for where Michigan's going to have to go find a new coach.
Here may be a guy on the class action lawsuit. Former Cleveland head coach Hugh Jackson said he was given, quote, no chance to win with the Browns. So we'll hear his story.
He also said he was offered money to lose games, right?
That's true.
If
he did say that.
if he went that direction, he's probably loaded
If
by
you
now.
missed any of that Taylor Lewan interview, hit the podcast, 1045thezone.com. Rate, review, subscribe. Back at it tomorrow. Later, y'all. Love you.
See ya.